unstoppable. He was everywhere. He died a couple of times. He had a one or two plays that you don't really want to see, but he was constantly setting things up. He was a perfect pick into the cannon, just completely bullied Kratos out of every fight. It was lovely stuff. They just had so much area control with a Rumble, with a Syndra, with a Mundo. There's just not a lot MVK can do.
Agreed. In the face of Team Secret Wales, there was not too much MVK could do. But enough about our VCS derby. We're into our second series of the night. Here we see CFO before us. CFO will be facing off against the likes of Ground Zero Gaming. We've got head coach Shaw. We've got assistants coach Walala there. We always love to see sort of the coaching staff being recognized. These are the sort of strategic minds behind these teams, and then the players, Rest, Shadow, Pangyun, Doggo, and 2274 are able to take those strategies and bring them to bear on Summoners, Rift, Carrix. I'm keen to see CFO on the Rift. They are currently fourth on the LCP ladder, and they will be playing into the 6th place Ground Zero Gaming here tonight. And I have seen Rest playing some interesting champions out there on solo queue, Carrix.
It's always interesting to see what he'll pull out. He's obviously an incredibly storied player of the region. But this is Ground Zero Gaming, Ejung, Husha, Jimian, Shun, and Orca trying to get the upset, trying to bring it to CFO and make our playoff race even more interesting. Skywalk there to bring the strats. See if they can execute it, because down there in 6th, they do need to keep winning. They need to find upsets. They need to find wins to hold off that 7 and 8 spot and get themselves into playoffs.
Yeah, every win matters, and if they win this one, they will definitely find themselves strongly, certainly in the middle of the pack and in that playoffs contention. If they're able to win this one, I'm fairly certain that would actually lock them in, with SHG and DFM currently in 7th and 8th place on the LCP ladder right here, Carrix. But that is going to be our Series 2 for tonight, which I think will prove to be explosive with these two middle of the ladder LCP teams. Carrix, we've said it before, we'll say it again, Ground Zero Gaming, they're the honorary Oceanic team, so I've got to root for the underdog in this one, mate.
100%, and I think there's so much to track from these teams, sort of regardless of the result. If Ground Zero Gaming get up, that's great for the underdogs. It's great for the honorary Oceanic team. But even if they don't, I just want to see some improvement. That's week to week, these teams that are a bit newer. You just want to see them growing and bringing new things in. And the same can be said for CFO. This is a rebuilding team. If you haven't watched much LCP this split, you might be saying, wait, did they just say CFO is 4th? Yeah, they are. They're in the rebuild. They're figuring things out again, and we just want to see that continuing to work. So I almost just don't care as much about the result as I do about just seeing how we get to the result.
Seeing them come together, seeing them synergize, seeing them play off of one another and grab these synergistic picks and become that fearsome monster that we knew CFO to be back in the LCP of 2025. And I mean, it was all season. It was all 2025, but they still have Rest. They still have Doggo. They still have those foundational elements to be able to become that fearsome team once again that we do know and love, and that the international community definitely respects after their 2025 performance. But Ground Zero Gaming, they're looking to prove themselves as well. They know that they can compete with the best here in the LCP, and they are looking to prove it at every chance they get. And Carrix, they're going to get a chance straight after this break, because here in the LCP, mate, we're made for this.
I swear I wanted it that way, till I saw a way out with you, and I don't know why, but I know it's true. I want a way out with you. Guess I don't evolve, but I'm sure enough to fake it. Sure enough to fake it. Sure enough to fake it. Sure enough, sure enough, sure enough to fake it. Sure enough, sure enough, sure enough to fake it. Sure enough, sure enough, sure enough to fake it. Sure enough, sure enough.
There ain't no stopping this groove. Let the groove get it to you. Put your hands up, look back at it, make them stand up, stand up. Shake it. Shake it. Drop, 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 drop. Shake it. Drop, 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 drop. Shake it. Arch your back with it, put your back with it. Arch your back with it, put 'em in a trance. Arch your back with it, arch your back with it. Arch your back with it, put 'em in a trance. Shake, 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 get low. Shake, shake, give 'em what they came for. Give 'em what they came, give 'em what they came for. Give 'em what they came, give 'em what they came for. There ain't no stopping this groove. Let the groove get it to you. Put your hands up, look back at it, make them stand up, stand up. Shake it. Shake it. Drop, 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 drop. Shake it. Drop, 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 drop. Shake it. Shake, 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 get low. Shake, shake, give 'em what they came. Shake it. Give 'em what they came. Give 'em what they came for. Give 'em what they came. Give 'em what they came. Shake it.
When you feel like all is lost, keep your head down, don't give up. Come with the sand, we will be all together in unity. Take my hand and join us now, 'cause we are moving in unity. Side by side, we'll be as one, 'cause we are moving in unity. We are one and we are moving in unity. We are one and we are moving in unity. We are one, we are one, we are one, we are one and we are moving in unity. We are one, we are one, we are one, we are one, we are moving in unity. We are one and we are moving. Don't you fear those words they say? We stand together, come what may. Join us now and we will be all together in unity. Take my hand and join us now, 'cause we are moving in unity. Side by side, we'll be as one, 'cause we are moving
can see we're living in a dream. When we let
Welcome back to the LCP. We are here for Series 2 tonight between Ground Zero Gaming and CFO, two middle of the ladder teams, Carrix. But after a banger Series 1, I think we're in for an even better Series 2. I think this one's going to go the distance, mate.
I really do hope so. Series 1, for all the hype around it, in the end was a first place team against a lower ranked team. Unfortunately, they did kind of beat them up a little bit. This is a lot more evenly matched. This is 4th versus 6th. They are only maybe a series or 2 apart. This is really close in the playoff race. And I want to see 3 games because, as I was saying before the break, it could go 2-1 either way. I don't really mind. I just want to have these teams on the Rift, improving, continuing to build synergy, continuing to build what they want to do. This is something we've heard Rest talk about. This new CFO, once they start meshing, once they have learned to play together, they're going to be the CFO we remember.
And one of the best ways to mesh, one of the best ways to play and practice is to spend time on the Rift. And the best way to spend time on the Rift is to play more games. So when 3-game series...
That's how I do it.
When it is a 3-game series and it goes all the way to 3, the players benefit from it. We benefit from it. We're entertained for longer. But enough about that as we go to our player walk-ons here, Carrix. I'm ready to see CFO and Ground Zero Gaming put their best forward, try and take it to the Rift and position themselves just that little bit better for playoffs. In our top lane, we have Rest and Yizhang, 2 names who are well known here in the LCP. Rest, that stable anchor on that top for CFO, and Yizhang, the explosive playmaker, Carrix.
In the jungle, it is Shadow and Husha, 2 players with a lot of history. Husha, in particular, someone I've been really watching, has been a massive part of the Ground Zero Gaming rise. Joined, of course, not too far behind, by the mid laners, Hungyeon and Jimian.
Yeah, we know and love both of them as well. Jimian did play for the Chiefs in 2025, and Pungung has put up some spectacular performances. The new young mid laner coming in to replace Hongkyu from last year. Here on the bot side, we have Doggo for CFO and Shun for Ground Zero. I'm really liking what I am seeing out of Shun here, so this will be an interesting matchup between these 2 very strong AD carries as 2274 and Orca walk onto the stage, take their bows and do their fist bumps before getting ready, Carrix, to play in tonight's best of 3 series.
And it's a big best of 3. I've sort of said it a couple of times, but this is a big one for the playoff standings. CFO are reasonably comfortable in 4th. They aren't locked in yet by any means, but they are reasonably safe. Ground Zero Gaming have to be careful. The Hawks are on their tail right behind them. They are locking up a win here, would do a lot to press them into the playoffs and into the postseason. That's what we want to see. That's what we're getting hyped for. But first, we have to pick who's going where, and our 2v2 will be starting in just a little bit.
These 2v2s are fantastic. I really think that they allow for an opportunity of fun. They allow for an opportunity of skill expression here too on champs you wouldn't normally see them on. As CFO, they go with Rest, their top laner, and Doggo, their bot laner. And this is an example of that fun that you can have, right? You can see these matchups, these duos that you wouldn't normally otherwise see, like a top and AD working together. But GZ, they're not here for fun. They're here to win. They go with their jungler and their mid laner, which is a classic pairing, Carrix.
That it is. And it's a pairing that matters in this game as well. Who have you got your eye on once we're on the Rift? What matchup do we really think is going to decide this one as we watch this 2v2 draft play out?
Okay, so if we're talking the Rift, I'm really keen to see Jimian and Pangyung in that mid laner. Typically, mid lane is if they can get that pressure down, if they can get the priority, it opens up that map and frees up the junglers to get to the objectives. Typically, we talk about pairing with your junglers in that mid lane for protection, for ganks to get the advantages. But by opening up the map, you also free up your other lanes to be able to step out of their lane and assist on those objectives as well, presuming that they have an advantage. You pair it all up, you time it, you work it nicely, and it just comes together. It's a team game after all. We do see here in this 2v2, we've got those series bans. For those of you who haven't seen this yet, series bans are champions that have been picked once already this split, and they cannot be picked by these teams again for the rest of the split. So you'll see that CFO has a series ban of Rengar, but they've picked the Rengar ban because that means GZ cannot pick the Rengar. And in kind, Ground Zero have banned away Caitlyn and Yorick.
They have waiting for this last ban to get locked in. See where they want to go. Oh, no, the CFO just didn't ban. Fair enough. We don't want to play against Rengar. Other than that, whatever. It is going to be a different animal pick, though, as the Volibear getting his second run on the Howling Abyss on his home turf.
We will see if Husha is able to pilot that Volibear as well as Pun does. And we see CFO locking
Doggo
in...
Draven.
Yeah, Doggo Draven, a fan favorite, definitely made his mark at Worlds last year and Nidalee. So they're going to have quite the long-range damage to be able to bring to bear into the much shorter range composition that GZ have. It is a rise, though.
It's a rise, but it's a rise in a 2v2. That's a very different beast to a rise that gets to level 18.
Yeah, I mean, if a 2v2 on the Howling Abyss goes to level 18, we've got some serious concerns, but here we are on the Howling Abyss. We see Draven and Nidalee of CFO running forward, trying to get that advantage in the shrubs here, and Jimian on the rise, and Husha on that Volibear have met them in the middle. Oh,
Conspiracy theory.
CFO.
Doggo, he's warming up his Draven for game one. Doggo's picking Draven. Do you subscribe?
I want to see it. I subscribe. I want to see it. He's got to do it.
Husha going in. They've locked Doggo in the corner, but don't lock Draven in the corner. Nidalee chasing down Rest, picking up that first kill. Jimian in some trouble, as it looks like CFO want to make this a quick one.
we didn't even get a chance to banter. We didn't even get a chance to be like, ooh, ah, ooh. Instead, CFO just went in. They secured themselves that first pick, which is what they've decided to prioritize here. And they've gotten the red side as well, which is what GZ left for them. So just really quick. And as you say, mate, I don't even think that was a warm-up. Can you warm up a champ that quickly?
I mean, when it's a champ you've played as much as Doggo, maybe it's not a warm-up as much as it's a warning. Better ban it. Better ban it.
If that's a warning, if that's a thing of signs, signs of things to come in the future, I really think GZ are going to need to respect it, and they're going to need to ban that one away, because CFO, they did not hold back. They just went and they got it. They came for everything and they took everything. A clean 2-0 for CFO on the Howling Abyss. And as we said, they got first selection. So they were able to choose either the side or the color and they ended up going first pick, putting some priority on that one. Happy to take whatever side GZ left for them. Mate, I love the LCP. These games are just rippers, Carrix.
Oh, they absolutely are. It's what I love about this league, what I love about this region is that every game is exciting. We have no boring games. We have no games that don't really matter. Every single series contributes to playoffs. Every single team is right there. And even the teams down the bottom, even DFM, for example, okay, they can't make playoffs this split, but they still need to be improving for their relegation run. And that's so unique to the LCP, something that I'm pretty sure only we really have in the tier 1 scene. And it just adds more stakes to every single series, even in this last week of the regular split.
Absolutely. Relegation is definitely a unique point for the LCP, and one that I really quite enjoy. It means that threat of underperformance, you could be knocked out of the league, so it motivates you, but it also presents opportunity for our tier 2, regions to compete at their best levels and fight their way into the tier 1. It's a merit-based system, and you have to love that for the gamers who want to come up from the smaller steps. They take those steps up into the big tier 1. As we do go to draft, we already have that Azir banned. They do not want Pungyung getting onto that Azir, a very powerful mid laner here in this patch. Rumble banned away, Jace and Mbessa banned away, Carrix. It's not going to surprise me if we see like an Orianna and a Malphite here, I think, mate.
Orianna for sure. Malphite, maybe you let it through. Maybe it doesn't necessarily fit Shadow and Hush's playstyle quite as much. Malphite also, we just haven't seen very much of him. He gets through sometimes. He's banned a fair bit. I actually kind of want to see some Rock.
Want to see some unstoppable force flying at the face of the opposition, and they can't do that if they keep on banning Malphite. Justice for Malphite. Free Malphite. And he's made it through. He hasn't been banned. All right. GZ and CFO, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever.
Not over Varus. Not over Varus. But Malphite's good into Varus. I'm on the Malphite agenda.
We've seen the agenda, we have signed it, and we say Malphite into Varus, yes, go. And you know what? We know that's the conversation that's happening right now. GZ, we can see it. I'm an excellent lip reader, Carrix. I don't know if you know this, but they're saying, yes, pick that Malphite. No, not Rise, Malphite. Lock him in now. It turns out I'm not great at it.
Rise Pantheon makes a lot of sense here for Ground Zero. We saw how effective this combo can be into the Varus. They can get on top of him. They can lock him down. Rise has just been an absolute juggernaut of the LCP as well. By far the most influential mid laner. I really don't think anyone else comes close in that lane. Just really fantastic stuff. What are CFO going to move over to? Xin Zhao is a good start, but of course that will put to rest our Rock. 07.
Yeah. I mean, junglers having picked their picks, and Malphite no longer has a place to call home. Xin Zhao is that classic response to that Pantheon ult as well. The Crescent Guard just able to repel very quickly. And Pungyung hovering the Syndra. Are we going to get 2 Syndra games back to back here? I mean, typically we see like a Talia or, oh, okay, we were being baited by the hover. It's a Nivea locked in for Pungyung here, which we haven't seen him play in the LCP just yet, Carrick. So this is an interesting time to bring it out as a first-time play.
It is, and it's so interesting because we have actually seen this Nivea not do super well into LCP rises. In theory, the matchup is really good for Anivia. He has no way to really play around the wall. He has no really good way to reliably dodge the stun. If you put the ult under him, he just has to walk out of it, which, I mean, if you're having to just walk out of an Anivia ult, you're having a really sad time. But despite all of that, Rises have just been winning the matchup.
And I think it's that global pressure that Rise is able to exert.
Yeah.
So was that Driver in the crowd I think I saw there? We do see that obviously that Realm Warp, that Pantheon ult, that global pressure that these two are going to be able to bring to bear in tandem. So these team fights are going to swing heavily in the favor of GZ at a moment's notice. And CFO, they're going to need to have to respect that one. We do see that Nico ban. She is a high priority support ban that comes through here. So I do like this coming out of GZ. They don't want their AD carry being locked up by those Tangle Barbs. They don't want their team being locked up by that Pop Blossom. It would be a really good answer into that Pantheon ultimate to try and land on the back line. So a really good support ban there as we see Na banned away from CFO against Ejang.
I think that does make a lot of sense. Just take away these safe picks. This might set you up to play just a tank up there, just maybe a Cassante, something like that for rest. Doesn't necessarily have to be incredibly dynamic. Just more supports taken away from 2274 as well. Do like seeing that.
I know it's not the game for it, but 2274 on Nami, I would be very happy to see because just he's a master at those bubbles, but I don't think Nami has the best angle in this matchup so far. I think that Varus needs protection because, as you said earlier, as soon as we saw that Rise Pantheon come through, we know exactly who their target is. We know exactly how they're going to do it. So it's going to be up to CFO to build some protection, and Bard would have been an excellent choice to protect that Varus, but it is picked away by Ground Zero Gaming here, Carrix.
That it is, and Bard, as you said, would have been really great for CFO. The one thing about Pantheon is he is very telegraphed. He's ulting in. You know exactly where he's going to be, and you can time the Bard ult fairly easily. I'm really curious where 2274 is going to go. Just need a top laner and a support. I think the Cassante makes sense. I was talking about that before. And a Karma. I actually really like this. Abuse Siva. She's a little bit shorter ranged. You can sit back. You play Varus Karma. It's pretty hard to lane into this.
Definitely, especially with that Q poke coming out of Karma. It's so difficult to dodge. It's so long ranged. Obviously not the most damage coming out of a support, but Karmas make it work. And you do have like a dual poke bot lane that can be very, very frustrating to engage into here. We see that Cassante locked in for Rest. Rest plays Cassante all of the time, so this is a fairly standard tank for him. But we do see GZ coming up with an interesting hover here. We could be seeing an Aatrox in the top side, which Ejang has brought to bear before. Unfortunately, last time wasn't able to secure the victory, but obviously they're hoping for a better result here in this game one between GZ and CFO. Look at these comms Carrix. They're quite different. And yet I like them.
Yeah, they are sort of, they're two pieces of rock, paper, scissors, but I don't know which one's which. So I don't know
I'm
who
gonna
wins.
say, I'm going to say Cassante's side, there are the rocks, and I'm going to say GZ's side, there are the scissors. I know Gwen's been banned away, so unfortunately
So
can't
CFO
really
wins?
go with... Well, yeah, no, okay.
Yeah, see?
Maybe it's like a soft rock, so there's a chance for the scissors, if they hit it hard enough.
Soft rock, all right. We're dads at a barbecue.
Yeah. It's a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing. When will we have the yacht rock comp? But anyway, moving into game, it will be an interesting one. I think CFO are coming in as the favorite. They are just that little bit higher on our ladder. They've been improving every week as well as they're getting their synergy down. But I think Ground Zero Gaming have assembled themselves a composition that is able to fight back here. And if Jimmy can get control of the mid lane and just freeze the Rise out a little bit, not let him roam all wherever he wants to go, that's exactly what we need to be seeing.
Very, very important. It's going to be able to respond to these globals, these semi-globals that Jimmy and Husha are able to bring to bear and in tandem as we do hit Summoner's Rift for game one of tonight's best of three series between CFO and Ground Zero Gaming. the classic. We just head into the river. We try and get these early wards down so that no one sees us, but we get that vision advantage. We do see that Doggo has that arcane comet, so that is the Varus that we do know and love, able to poke from really long range and take out a tasty chunk of that health bar Carrix. We do see both junglers on their top sides.
Yeah, just pathing down to the bot lane. I think, again, look, it makes sense. It is the most common way for junglers to clear for a reason. Top laners are so often left on the island. You don't really want to try and gank an Aatrox or a Cassante. Just let them do their own thing. Try and set up a play around your bot lane if they can get priority. And of course, you don't have to do anything after your first clear. You can always just reset, just go back and get tempo on your own. What? Pantheon, I always like to see an early Flash W.
Yeah, Pantheon early Flash W is something to be respected 100%. You see that coming towards you in your lane, you're going to need to move out of the way. Currently, CFO have a very, very small health bar advantage over this GZ Giro in bot, but they get the early level advantage. It's these level power spikes that are so critical, as Doggo is actually a minion behind in that level there. Interesting, he must have been out of range for one of the first deaths of a minion. As we just see in the player cams, one of my favorite things to do is look at these player cams from time to time and just see these players having fun with it. They're smiling, sometimes even laughing, just enjoying themselves. As Peng Yung, a cheeky step forward to just interrupt Jimmy's recall, force him to stick around here, and classic topside shenanigans, Carrix. You love to see it.
Cassante getting shoved in, but being safe as houses under the tower. Shun burning heal just to break that tether. An empowered Q. Really nice spell shield there. Timing that super well for Shun, blocking a lot of damage. As the trades continue, summoners just continuing to be burned. Of course, this is one of those things where bot laners have realized that first 3 minutes, you kind of can just burn your non-flash summoner because it's going to come up before it's super relevant.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Shun proactively.
Hang on. Shadow taking a lot of damage, but CFO are first on the play as Doggo's in. Jimmy is flashing into this one. Doggo's going back onto him, and they wall it off. Cannot escape the first kill, and oh no, this could be a disaster. Orca has the magical journey, but the rest can follow them through. Hungyon going first. They don't get the stun onto Shun, but they do get the kill onto Husha, and now Shun has nowhere to go. It has all gone wrong.
Peng Yung starting that recall before Shun is even dead. The absolute cheek of it. Yeah, a 3-0 turnover there for CFO. They're now up 1,500 gold at the 4-minute mark, Carrix. I know we talk about gold leads later in the game and that they're inconsequential because it's literally half an item, but 1,500 in 3 minutes is massive. Peng Yung forcing this flash out of Jimmy in early proves critical, allowing CFO to collapse onto him, getting that first blood, and Orca going on this mystical journey. I think it's inspired by CFO to just follow as a team. They knew they had the numbers advantage, they had the health bar advantage, the sums advantage. They knew that they would win that fight, so much so that Peng Yung styles on Shun and begins the recall before he's even dead, Carrix.
Yeah, I mean, before the devil knows you're dead to a new height, as Peng Yung is just still bullying Jimmy and procking another electrocute. Has those 3 assists. Would have loved to get a kill or 2 on your Anivia, but you're happy enough just getting 2 onto Doggo. And I mean, you couldn't really script a better early game here for CFO.
Frankly, you couldn't. A 3-0 in the first 4 minutes is a phenomenal start. 2 kills going over to Doggo, 1 going over to Shadow. So you have an accelerated AD carry, you have an accelerated jungler. CFO, this is a fantastic position to be in this early. While the 2 top laners, they just do what they do best. It's a wet noodle pool fight going on up there. And yeah, The Drake is up as well. So CFO, they're just going to press this early advantage they have. They've got the bot lane shoved in. So it looks like Shadow is just going to be able to take this one for free because Pungyong's rotated here too, Carrix.
Yeah, Orca
poke.
taking so much damage. There's no way they can test now. And I have good news. After the last couple Varuses we've seen, there's a serrated Dirk in inventory. Woo! It's Poke!
This is the Varus we were expecting to see last night.
And the time
But,
before, it's been 2 in a row.
It's good. You do like to see it. This is the Poke Varus that we expected to see. We saw the Arcane Comet come through, so we fully expected this to be the build. And Doggo, not disappointing the crowd or his team, has gone for that one. And as you see, I love the stats that we're seeing there, right? So jungler, mid, bot, and sup. All 4 of them were involved in those 3 kills early in that game. So the grouping began quickly. The CFO snap response is there. We already, it feels like they're synergizing again. It feels like they're working together again, Carrix. Ooh.
Old coming in. Doggo in a lot of trouble. Doesn't have flash, doesn't have ghost. Good timing there. Just a good read by Husha.
Really well done there by Husha. Saw 2274 in the mid lane, knew Doggo was alone on that bot lane, knew that he'd burnt that flash in that first fight, and just pulled that ultimate and able to 2v1 Doggo down and out, pressing home that advantage. As Pungyong onto Jimmy here. Jimmy does pop the
Jimmy in
flash.
so much trouble. Wind becomes lightning. Jimmy becomes 300 gold.
Just a small correction, I said flash, it was ghost. Jimmy did pop the ghost there at the start of that fight, and yeah, as you say, just goes down. Shadow has 2 kills to his name. The fighting continues.
Yeah, it is just going to be the Sivir ult traded for the Crescent Guard. Magical Journey gets them to safety.
I feel like we've got a VCS team here in this matchup, Carrix, because they are scrapping. It's 5 kills in 8 minutes. We do see that Bard is using that unsealed spellbook to TP to bot side, really just trying to get there before this wave crashes, deterring any dive. They did see that there was 3 CFO. Shadow was in the area, but did decide to recall. Husha was responding. Chains of Corruption.
Chains of Corruption is thrown out, doesn't land, but Orca taking a lot of pain as they just constantly get pushed in. Doggo died before, did take that Pantheon ult, but it doesn't really change the bot lane dynamic. He's still so far ahead. They will always have push. They will always have tempo.
Absolutely, and the range on the poke that they're able to bring to bear, like look at this damage that Doggo is just punishing Orca with. Orca cannot step up to this tower, he cannot play this game, and Karma herself is no slouch. When she has that RQ poke, that's gonna hit and it's gonna do some damage. Shadow doing well here, able to turn that around and get the grubs. Pungyong pressing home his mid lane advantage over Jimmy, and he may not have a massive CS advantage and he may not have a kill advantage over Jimmy, but right now he seems to be getting the better of him, being able to outplay him as Shun just misses out on preventing that recall there from CFO's bot side. We do see Doggo pick up that Ghost Blade now, so whew.
Yeah, he is very, very accelerated here, Logan. He is going to be throwing out so much damage with those piercing arrows, so much. If you get caught by a Chains of Corruption, you are in deep, deep trouble. He's also so hard to get onto, has the flash and the ghost at the moment. Should a fight break out over this dragon in 1 minute's time, it's going to be so hard to lock Doggo down to the point where maybe you just have to surrender it as, look at the damage, look what I'm talking about.
Mate, that was a Q and an E, and Orca's suddenly less than 50%. Oh, a blind Chains of Corruption out of Doggo there. He's a bit deep, Carrix.
He is very deep, but has the ghost. You'll be happy to trade a Sivir ult for Varus's ghost. Reinforcements. I don't think they want to go under tower 3v3, but covering off to just stop any extra aggression onto Doggo.
I do love that with the Varus, you can literally 360 no-scope. Like, you just spin around and then you let rip that Q. It's the funnest little skill. It's not fun, however, to be on the receiving end of it.
Varus, of course, a deeply unfair champion because he's 3 people. That's not fair.
I mean,
Every
what are
other
you supposed to
champion
do
is
against
one
that?
guy. It's 3 guys. I can't fight 3 guys at once.
Mate, I can't even fight one. What are you talking about?
Look, we don't have to admit that, even though it's true of both of us.
Yeah, exactly. We do see CFO just pressing home their bot side advantage here. Doggo's going to chip away at this turret, maybe get a little turret plate gold for himself, as Shadow does have priority in that dragon pit and is moving to take it. We do see Husha does get scuttled by top
Rash
side.
going in with the all out. Both trading flashes. Ejung just forced away. And as I was sort of alluded to before, with the lead in the bot side, just don't contest the dragon. Give it up. Just do your best to farm up. Try and catch up and try and stabilize for when these objectives really start mattering.
Yeah, and interestingly, the CFO's Doggo is the first to complete that role quest on his team, but on the opposite spectrum, Ejung is the first to complete the top side role quest and the first overall as well. So really good work by Ejung there. He may be losing that sort of 1v1 hands check in the matchup, but he's ahead by nearly 20 CS over Rest. So it's good to see he's not being bullied too much out of this lane. As we see Shadow just getting some poke onto Orca. Orca is taking all kinds of damage here tonight, Carrix.
Yeah, Orca has been struggling on this Bard, has just been constantly getting traded onto. That said, hasn't died. Health is a resource. Just using his health bar well. Rest very far forward here as Husha throws himself forward onto him. But with 2274 revealing himself, they're not going to continue that play. It is just a little bit of a scuffle for positioning. They want to get wards down. Just about 2 minutes before that Herald, that is a good time to start setting your vision up. There's also, don't need the wards anywhere else at the moment.
I really don't think this one's going to be too big of a vision war. It'll just be fairly standard. Ooh,
they're going to immediately move in. It's a rumble in the jungle. Bard ultimate onto Doggo into a lovely stun, predicting the flash. Doggo has to evacuate. He can't do it. Jimmy will take him down. It's going to be traded onto Shun, but that's positive for Ground Zero, if you ask me.
absolutely. I mean, so far it's a 1-for-1 as it looks like the teams are disengaging. Rest look to be trying to take a recall.
Ooh, Shadow very aggressive here, but has Pungyon as backup, putting up that frozen circle. Oh, Jimmy, and there's a wall in the way, having to flash over. Shadow follows, realizes the rest of his team can't, as Ground Zero are forced out of their own jungle.
Good sequence of play there, and all the while on the top side, Rest was trying to take a recall, and Ejung was able to prevent it. The
All out here, Doggo coming in, and a quiet game gets loud as they don't go over the wall. They don't have the chains of corruption, so Ejung will be able to flap away.
Good response there on that top side from Doggo to help Rest out, as we did see Rest was able to all out. And we go back to this replay here in the jungle. As you say, Shadow invading here, but Husha not willing to take this lying down, ults in to try and repel Shadow, but CFO were there. Doggo uncharacteristically out of position, gets caught there. The flash is predicted, unable to really get any damage down and taken out early. But CFO, they just team fight this one, even with the numbers advantage. They're able to turn that one around. Hoosh is forced to flash away. And then this extended engage. CFO, they stick around in this jungle, and Shadow not afraid to fight into Husha, knowing he has those two team members with him. And they're just able to shut that one out. They're able to get the jungler, Husha, from GZ and press home that advantage, invading that jungle there, Carrix. As we do see those rotations coming through. CFO, oh God, Carrix.
Yep, they bring in the band, and we identified Jimmian as a really key player. I think CFO might have done that too.
I mean, we were just talking about it. I'm like, oh, okay, some lane rotations have occurred. Nah, some team rotations have occurred. CFO just rocked up in force and took Jimmy out. That was the clinical assassination of that mid laner right then and there, unable to respond in any way, shape, or form. And it also gives over the Rift Herald to Shadow because of that priority, and it gives over that topside tier 1 to Peng Yung, putting even more gold in the pocket of the CFO's mid laner, who is proving themselves to be quite proficient on this Anivia. 106 has been involved in every single fight, and he doesn't have the global Carrix.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. What gets around the map faster, a Realm Warp or one Flappy Bird? Not the answer I would have expected, as Orca, again, chunk low, but still survives. Has to burn his flash, though, as the Rift Herald summoned up in mid. They want to break this one open, give themselves more movement around the map. Oh,
GG.
Drive better. Gotta drive better. But here's a huge engage. Ejung finds his way onto 2274, tries to chain up. Doggo can't quite do it. They're going to turn it around. Doggo whipping damage in that Anivia wall, doing so much work. Magical Journey gets Orca to safety. It's just the one kill so far, but it's all control to CFO.
The CFO absolutely just body checked GZ there. Ejung did get a good initial engage, but CFO just able to turn around. Peng Yung with that wall, with that stun, able to really negate any sort of impact GZ were looking for there. And what was interesting too, CFO had already burnt their Chains of Corruption and Crescent Guard before that secondary fight broke out. So they didn't have the ultimates that GZ were bringing to bear into that fight. CFO just turned it around tidily onto GZ, got themselves that mid lane tier 1, got themselves the priority, the vision, and now they've just secured their third Drake. They're on Soul Point here. The next Drake is, if they get it, it's Soul. Well played by Orca here, though, to slow CFO down, deny that Rift Herald crash.
Look at this wall, by the way. Peng Yung goes insane.
Really good value, keeps Ejung in position for CFO. Definitely not where Ejung wanted to be, split from the rest of his team. So that Peng Yung wall was able to split that fight up and basically make it a 5v1 until Ejung was dead. So it was just unfair, basically, how well Peng Yung played it.
I counted. Shun auto-attacked 3 times in that fight once the wall was up. All of them onto a minion.
Yeah, that's not what you want in a fight.
You don't win when your Sivir doesn't hit anyone.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, right now, Doggo has 3 kills over his counterpart, Shun, which is where that 2.2k gold lead is mostly coming from. And I do like... Ooh,
it's a lovely catch here onto Doggo, but he has the flash. He gets out. The Chains of Corruption won't land, but a piercing arrow will. CFO continue to move forward. Again, a 3-man stun out of Peng Yung. It's Ejung's arrival that gives Ground Zero a fight back here, desperately trying to make this work. In from the side comes Rest. This is a little bit of an all-in for Ground Zero. Shun has to run. He's walled. They bear down on him. Rest puts him to bed. Good stun there by Orca. This is why we don't follow Bards. He survives, he's tanking up. Peng Yung diving deep, picks up a kill onto Husha. Jimmy slowed up, walled out. Peng Yung flashes. He wants it. He gets it.
Peng Yung is just better tonight, Carrix. Flashing forward, getting that stun and electrocute proc to take Jimmy down. Rest came to that fight so late. He walked from lane. GZ had the numbers advantage for so long, and I was about to point out before this fight broke out, I like Doggo's itemization. He's gone for that really early Edge of Night second. As we see it here again, Orca flanking, Husha, Jimmy flanking. So at the start of this play, the only person visible was Shun. Doggo flashing away to buy himself some space, buy himself some time. Shadow frontlining with that Crescent Guard. And Ejung unable to really get on top of this backline. Peng Yung, Doggo basically left to just free fire into the midst of GZ. This really long, protracted fight working in CFO's favor. Rest enough time to get involved in the fight. I was worried that Rest would go down here, tanking that turret, taking that stun from Orca, but just too strong. And Peng Yung, those stuns. As we go back to fight,
back to live as Shadow and Pangyon link up once more, and this is an angry bird. This Anivia now 4-0-8, and it's a joy to watch, Logan.
Absolutely. I think this is the CFO coming online. This is the CFO that is synergizing, that Rest was talking about we have to work towards. Oh, Rest here. 1v3 Carrix.
Yeah, and he'll live. They can't kill him. They just don't do any damage to this Cassante. He'll just walk away, able to continue zoning them. CFO are so far ahead at the moment. How do you possibly walk into that? Jimmy walled off. Baron is smited. Ground Zero have nothing they can do.
I think it's fair to say so far this game one has been a routing from CFO against GZ. It feels like GZ doesn't have the answers right now. They're trying to match them in these 5v5 fights. As we go to replay here, 2274 on this Karma is consistently getting these routes time and time again, keeping GZ locked into fights where they want to be retreating. That gives them that numbers advantage, it gives them that tempo build, and in turn gives them that Baron. Rest is able to play bouncer to most of GZ's team right now. He's a 2-item Cassante with a Jack shows. He wants to be fighting, he just gets tankier and tankier.
Jimmy desperately trying to scale into this one, has 2 minutes until the Rod of Ages pops, but he's a 1.5 item rise against a 2.5 item Anivia. It's a full item essentially behind. He is basically just an Archangel's down. He's so much less effective than Pangyon on the Anivia. They're just going to push into the base. They're going to open this bot lane up. And I think the writing has been on the wall since that botched fight around the Dragon Pit. They're going to go for another one. They're going to try and get onto Pangyon, but they just can't do it. Another wall is built. The Great Wall of the LCP, built by Pangyon in the year 2026, as the All-Out drags that Aatrox through. Ejung taken down, base broken, inhibitor siege, and they're going to keep going forward. Shadow knows how this one is going. Rest, the only one who might pay, and he doesn't. A teleport, Pangyon rejoining, but his team will make the call to just go and get sold.
That was a really strong statement there from CFO. That was essentially them saying, we can take your base at any time we want to, but we're going to get this sold before we decide to do it. 1,500 gold plus with this Baron power play so far. They still have over 40 seconds left on it. And the fact that Pangyon took a recall and teleported back in, leaving CFO as a 4 to what was left of GZ. The CFO here, so confident, they literally went GZ under this tower. GZ commits so much to this fight. Aatrox pops the World Ender. We've got the Pantheon ult in over the top, but it just doesn't feel, no matter how well GZ are able to sync up, we're back to life.
Yeah, Pangyon has been caught taking a little bit of damage, but is still this Anivia, basically unstoppable. He hasn't even gone into egg form this game. He hasn't even used the passive, as Husha being caught out, taken down. Shadow goes unstoppable. Someone else that is having an amazing game. Another route from 2274 sets up the kill onto Jimmy, and the rest is just going to keep walking forward. This is an ADC hitting him. He doesn't take damage.
Yeah, 2-item ADC, no less, Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver, as there's a little 1v1 between Doggo and Ejung. Doggo just did 50% to Ejung in like 2 hits, Carrix. CFO, they have so much priority, they have so much push, they have the Chemtech Soul, which makes them that much harder to kill when they're lower HP as well. Carrix, I think this might be the push to end the game.
I think you might be right, Logan. I think this should be it. Soul is secure. There's no Baron for 2 minutes. There's no way they wait for that. They're just going to break this one, make sure they have as many minions as possible. Move from inhib to inhib. Use that Anivia wall to keep themselves safe. Throw out these thermonuclear piercing arrows from Doggo. Rest. Unstoppable on the front side. Shadow constantly threatening movement. And again, Varus just whipping damage over the top. Nivea Circle does go down for just a moment. They're hitting the towers. This is the last chance for Ground Zero, and they have to do something. But Rest makes it impossible. Picks up Husha. Bard ultimate only lands onto Doggo on the other side. Ejung has fallen. They get one back, but it is only one. Have they bought themselves enough time? I don't think CFO thinks so. Pungyon, he's low, but still has that passive. Puts up the wall. The first tower falls. Can they move onto the second? A lovely spot there. Jinian too far forward. Taken down. The Archangel Shield not enough to save him. And with that Rise wave clear gone, this is a foregone conclusion. They're going to have some fun in the fountain, but this will be CFO moving up to 1-0 in our second series of that. No, Pungyon! The egg doesn't work on the fountain. He's ruined it.
Just before that happened, I was about to point out that Peng Yong, 2274, Shadow, and Rest had deathless games, but Rest died in that final push, and Peng Yong under Fountain died for the first time. But credit to Shadow, credit to 2274, deathless games. That was clean out of CFO versus Ground Zero Gaming for this first game of tonight's best of 3 Carricks. And I gotta say, that was CFO in form. They looked very, very difficult to overcome there all game.
CFO rebuild, I heard? What are they rebuilding to? Like a space station or something? Pungyon looks incredible. Like, he doesn't do top damage in the game. Obviously can't really keep up with a poke Varus, but his walls were dealing, were essentially dealing thousands of damage every single time he put them up.
Even the utility that he brought to bear, the walls were astronomical. You said Great Wall of the LCP. I was going to say the Great Wall of Peng Yong, but either way, those walls were great. And the stuns, Peng Yong did not miss. He was forcing them to flash, or he was getting multi-person stuns, turning the fights back in the favor of CFO. And it just felt like CFO GZ didn't have answers to that. The confidence here this early in the game of CFO, knowing they had a 4-man stack, knowing they could work together to take down a manaless Shun on this Sivir. And Peng Yong just, I know I said it live and I'll say it again, styling with the recall. And he did it again in that bot side push later in the game. In the middle of the fight, he recalled to TP back and join the fight. Such was his confidence in his team that they were winning it and would keep pushing it away. I feel like GZ Carricks, I feel like they played well. I think CFO just played better tonight.
I'm going to be real. I don't know how GZ played. I don't think they got to do very much, and I don't think that's their fault. I think when Pungyon is on this form, when Shadow is playing this well, there's not a lot that a team can do, and this is making me really excited for when we see CFO going up against GARM, going up against Team Secret Wales, going up against Relove DCG. I just think they're a top team. I think they're much better than their record suggests. I think they've worked out all of the synergy.
And you are absolutely right there. I mean, we saw Peng Yong get more flash, like just the aggression. Whenever I see an Anivia, I can't say I expect AD levels of aggression, but that's what we saw with Peng Yong. He would move forward to get these stuns. He would be moving forward to zone GZ, to split the fight. And CFO's Rest. I know the top laners don't get too much glory, but Rest. He was frontlining for CFO and then some. he became a threat himself towards the end of that game. So it was just a really impressive pace that CFO were able to, put the pedal to the metal and run with it from the start to the finish of this game, Carrick. All credit where credit is due. GZ played well enough, but CFO just were on a different level here, Carrick. But we will come back for game 2 of tonight's best of 3 series right after this break, because here in the LCP, we're made for this. LCP, LCP, LCP. We are back. It is game 2 of tonight's best of 3 series between CFO and Ground Zero Gaming, Carrix. As we do see GZ get first pick and red side. Carrix, any thoughts?
Many thoughts after game number 1. Most of them are Anivia shaped. Where are Anivia? How is Anivia? Can Anivia die? I think it's hard to really tell. There obviously was the one death at the end. Pangyon being a little bit silly, making sure his KDA is defined, but he was putting his hand up for, hey, mid later of the week, maybe has to follow it up in game 2, but we need to see a fight back from Ground Zero. They sort of, it might be a little bit easier to bounce back from this one because it's, you can look at that bot lane river fight where they decided like, yeah, put it all on Scuttle Crab, rolled the dice, got 2 ones, failed the 3-inch charge and went, oh, okay then. And it all fell apart from there. So hopefully they can just mentally cleanse it, pretend that this is game 1, and send us to a third.
That would be fantastic. A strong mental reset needs to come out of Ground Zero Gaming here. I'm sure that pep talk in the back rooms was all about, hey, we're still in this. We've still got 2 more games. We can win both of them and take this best of 3 series against CFO. But this CFO looks to have hit their stride. They look to have found that synergy that initially was missing when they came to the LCP this split after their rebuild. But we are in drafts right now, Carrix. We see that Jungle Jace banned away. We see Ambessa banned against Ezhang. They've learnt their lessons. Do not give Ezhang Ambessa. And likewise, Ground Zero know not to give Pangyong Azir, and they cannot let that Nico and Akali through. So just a couple of mid lane bans there from GZ, Carrix. I will be interested to see what CFO's last ban is.
Go. No Brock. No Brock.
It's a shame. It would be good.
My boy. Let him out. Let him play. But oh well, that Malphite is going to be taken out. That does mean Jace is available. Husha could go towards that. We've seen good performances from him on the Jace, if they want to do that. But of course, Orianna, hard to ignore.
Yeah, we do know that Jungle Jace was the first ban coming out of CFO, so that does leave up those junglers like Wukong. We have seen potentially a Mundo could be on the Rift tonight. We do know that Husha is also prone to the Aatrox, but Aatrox is also Fearless ban now. We saw Rest hover the classic top laner in Ornn, but it looks like they're going to try and give priority. Oh, no, abated by the hover. They've slammed the Rumble for Rest here, Carrix.
Makes sense. There's no Cassante. There's no obvious answer. You just go the Jarvan as well. You are giving up Orianna Nocturne. They think that the Hot Pot is better than the Nightmare Ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, what I like about this, right,
sometimes I've had Hot Pot so spicy that I get paranoia. So
it could be the answer. Nocturne has not yet been banned. It is not Fearless banned. It is still available on the Rift. And GZ, they haven't locked in a jungler yet, so it could be a Nocturne if they decide to pair it up with that Orianna. We did see that in tonight's best of 3 series 1. Unfortunately, SOFM not able to pair up with Cardi there and deliver those killing blows. But we do see, as you say, that cooking pot of Rumble and Jarvan. If those two are able to sync up and lock someone down, that is almost a guaranteed kill going over to CFO. But GZ, they like themselves the Scion. They fancy themselves that Wukong. Wukong, just such a good 1v1 jungler, brawler, able to frontline, able to get some good engages, able to prevent engages as well with that Cyclone if used defensively. But ooh, can we see Pangyong on Galio? I like this pick.
Yeah, this is a very good synergistic pick. Pangyon showing that can really play both types of mid laners, the control mage and the more tanky, more engaging melee mid laner. Exactly what we want to see. And also just a fantastic response. Wukong wants to go in, he'll hit the Cyclone, have a Shockwave on top of him. Galio ult comes in, puts the magic shield up, really helps everyone out. So far, I like what CFO's putting down.
Definitely a strong answer, and a callback to last night's game with Hongshu, obviously having a cracker of a performance on the Yone, and then an equally strong performance on the Galio. It looks like Pangyong here is really going for that sort of team of the week mid laner position, having a stunning game on this Anivia, out-handsing Jimmy's Rise. And if he can have an equally strong performance on this Galio, he will absolutely be in contention. We do see that Aphelios ban, that Yunara ban, so those bot side AD bans coming through. I would almost expect to see maybe a Kai'Sa or a Corki ban if they want to continue attacking that pool, but support bans wouldn't go astray either, just like that Rakan.
Yeah, the Rakan being taken away is interesting. Potentially could have been pretty good if you're all going the same way. Obviously, Rakan's charms do get a lot of value, can go in with the Wukong as well. I like the ban, still plenty of supports for Orca to play. As we wait for this last ban, we must be getting pretty close to it. What do we think? Is it going to be an ADC? Is it going to be a support? It is going to be the Misfortune taken away from Doggo. Doggo, it's calling for you. The Reckoner. The arena calls. Throw your axes. We must lock in Draven.
Give the people what they want, Doggo. We saw it in the 2v2. Now we need to see it again here in the 5v5. I do love it though. He kind of like Kai'Sa. There it is, Doggo's Kai'Sa. Currently a 50% win rate, so he will be looking to elevate that one just a little bit here tonight. He must be holding that Draven for the international stage. He wants to rip that out when he's nice and deep in the run to try and get CFO over the line, take them to victory, take them to glory. Because right now he's like, you know what? You don't get my Draven. I don't need my Draven here. I can still win with these other picks that I have in my pockets. It is responded to, though, with a Lucian Nami bot side. Quite the classic Carrix. Oh, I was baited by the hover. Let's see what they lock in.
Shed support would be immensely funny. I don't think that's what's going to come in here. I think a Braum does make a lot of sense, can soak up a lot of the damage, put the wall up towards wherever the Kai'Sa comes from. Does struggle a little bit with the Jarvan. That hop is fairly short range. If he's caught in that, can only block so much damage. Not the tankiest of the tank supports.
Agreed. I'd really like to, I just don't know why, I just want to see them slam a Seraphine, pick up a little bit of that AP damage as well, have that double kind of long range to really poke out that Braum, just have his struggle town for the first half of the game. But Rel locked in, not a bad choice there at all. That crash down, that stun, that magnet storm to keep them locked up while Doggo just pummels them with that Kai'Sa, that equalizer. Like, okay, hear me out. J4 Cataclysm, Rumble Equalizer, Rel Magnet Storm, Galio Hero's Entrance. Good luck, whoever's in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to imagine living through that. Of course, if anyone can do it, it will be a Scion. The issue here is that the Orianna, that traditional counter, is the Jarvan. Jarvan just puts her in there and says, do you have flash? If the answer is no, you die.
I like the challenge of it. It's like, do you have flash? No, they die, you know? Like,
yeah, instead of yelling to Marcia, it's, do you have flash?
And then he like screams, yeah. It screams for Demacia as he like does the engage. I love it so much. Jarvan is currently in those cinematics as well that we do see in our downtime between these games. But we are getting ready for our game 2 here tonight. It is CFO, Rest, Shadow, Pangyong, Doggo, 2274, and Ground Zero Gaming, Yizhang, Husha, Jimin, Shun, and Orca preparing to jump onto the Rift for game 2 of tonight's best of 3 series. We are on Summoner's Rift, Carrix. I'm excited.
I'm always excited when we load on to Summoner's Rift. It's my favorite place to be. sitting at home watching some LCP, and aren't we so lucky that the games are as good as they are, as that early little crash down doesn't quite land. And this is my favorite animation in the game, the Rel dismounted walk, because she looks like she really has to go to the bathroom.
I thought you were going to say she really has to like hit you with her lance, but
No,
okay,
no.
sure. You know,
I've done that walk, and I've never carried a lance.
Well, I do like the skin that Jimmy and Zoriana has got. She's at the beach. She's chilling. She's having a relaxing time. She's going to be pressing this early ranged advantage that she has into Peng Yung, trying to get as much CS as possible, as 2274 crashing down there to try and avoid that Braum passive, stopping any stacks, preventing that damage, because you do actually get that shield when you crash down. And that is a nice way to sort of soak, tank any of that damage here in this early game, and maybe even save yourself some summoners. But on the top side, Yizhang does have massive early lane priority into rest. He's nearly under the turret already, Carrix.
Yeah, that range versus melee coming in. Oh no. Move the camera. That was tragic. Every minion going down. Oh no.
Yeah, you do love to see it. It's his rest did net a wave of minions under that turret, as Yizhang did have that push in there. And again, that classic little crash down from that Rel. It's one thing I do love about the Rel is the engage, right? Rel is, I want to say, a surprisingly powerful engager. She doesn't strike you as the first choice for engage, but I also don't see on why, because she just has that shield when the crash down, which kind of knocks you up, slows you down, the Q to stun you. Like, it's a 3-hit combo that you just can't get away from if even one piece of it hits you. So it's really a fantastic choice here in this bot side, and I hope it plays out the way that CFO want it to here tonight.
Yeah, and I think the way it interacts with this game in particular is so good because it's another flash check. The reason Rel isn't sort of that first string engage support, though she's not really far behind, she's like 1.5 maybe, is because you can flash the crash down reasonably easily. She has to find massive flanks, or she has to invest a flash of her own, as they move in onto Jimmy and Shadow going in with the flash EQ. They don't quite have the damage. Pengyon wants it, brings down the fist. Oh, on the other side, Shadow takes Husha. Husha takes him down, I should say. But it's flashes burned everywhere, and that plays into what I was saying. If Rel burns your flash, it means that you can't flash the jump. Ooh, lovely.
Yeah, but critically, that first blood did go over to Peng Yung, so he did net himself that first blood bounty of 100 gold on top of the kill. So nice play there, really sort of team play coming out of Shadow to tank that turret up. He just stood there, copped it as much as he could. Bit of a skirmish, a little bit of trading happening on the bot side here. CFO level up to 4, they will be okay. As we see this play start out, Peng Yung had the advantage and Shadow was in the area. So positional advantage, gets a great taunt, allowing Shadow to flag and drag. Jimmy and nearly whiffing that flash, going into the wall there, but able to get some distance, forcing Shadow to have to tank that turret up, which allows GZ's jungler Husha to respond and get that kill back, turning it into a 1-for-1. Probably the most optimal situation you could hope for there for GZ. Oh, someone else just went down. 2274 taken out.
2274 has been caught, has been cooked. We'll have to get a replay to see exactly what happened. And hello again. You don't have flash this time, Jimmy. And in some trouble. Husha is there in time to cover. Should be able to push them away. They don't have that second round of spells. I don't think they want to go back under the tower. Pengyon actually getting chunked there, so CFO do have to back off.
Peng Yung dancing with fire there, just copping a turret shot. Okay, we see this engage. 2274 being very cheeky, pushing right up here, letting the Braum get the passives off, and Sean just able to auto proc the stun, and down he goes. That feels uncharacteristic of 2274 there, Carrix. I question the decision.
It was a little bit interesting, but it is just a little blip on the radar. Just no one will remember as long as he makes up for it in the rest of the game. Yeah,
as long as we don't highlight it again. And then it was funny because at the same time that was happening, that fight broke out in the mid lane, right? And Peng Yong and Shadow were there again. They were ready to try and get that kill onto Jimmy, and knowing that Orianna did not have flash, they wanted to punish. But Husha read the play, knew the timings, and was able to respond in time to save his mid laner. Ooh.
So many little plays at the moment, so many little interactions. This game wants to break open. The first big thing to write home about will be GZ picking themselves up a dragon.
Yeah, getting themselves that bot lane priority there, GZ, as they got that poke. 2274 flashed away. And they just continue that trade just to really make sure CFO aren't able to step up and even contest that Drake. So Husha claims first jungle objective. It is that Cloud Drake. And CFO, they're in the jungle. Oh,
Yeah,
good ward from Husha there.
Yeah, they've read the play. They know what's going on. Shadow able to zone them out, get control of his red buff, but they're not done. They want to just keep this going for now.
I genuinely don't know if 2274 even knew that ward was there. Like, it was spotted out. You can tell by the little blue icon above it, but he wasn't attacking that ward whilst he was still standing in that pit when he had the opportunity to. Maybe I needed to watch the timing on that one. It just seems unusual that you're not like trying to kill that ward as well, as Orca is rotated to mid.
Yeah, and it's a really lovely play. Just goes in, puts the passive on Pungyon. They use the shockwave. They get the damage in. Orca taking the kill is not ideal, but a kill is a kill is a kill. GZ, very happy with that one.
GZ have found themselves nearly 1,000 gold up by 7 minutes here. It's 3-1. This is definitely a much, much better start to game 2 than they found themselves in game 1. But that, Orca taking that kill there, that was a bit cheeky. I reckon he definitely could have handed that one over to Jimmy and put the gold in the pockets of his mid laner just to get him back in the game here. He is ahead in CS, but he is down that kill, which is why there's that 230 gold lead. But this is a better game, I want to say. They're scrapping. They've built themselves a fantastic composition to be able to sort of lock down CFO when they decide to pull that trigger.
And Logan, I'm getting a little bit of flashbacks from game 1. Admittedly, we are only 8 minutes in. It's early, but we drafted a combo and I want to see the combo.
We got to wait for that jungle top laner to sync up. And as we say it, they are coming together. But it doesn't look like GZ is going to contest these grubs. It looks like CFO will get this jungle objective free and easy. All 3 grubs go down to CFO. But GZ looking to get a cross-map play here. They've got 4 on the bottom. They're overloading Carracks.
That they are. The culling comes in, does so much damage. Galio is here. Doggo dances back, dashes forward. They turn around onto Husha, but the shockwave is a lovely, lovely stuff. They immediately pick up 2. They juggle the turret exactly as planned. And GZ, they are looking so much better in game 2.
That was phenomenal out of GC. The engage, the tower juggling, the disengage and re-engage. But I actually thought Doggo had saved himself. He ran out and then ulted back in under the turret to force GZ back into them. And I saw the damage landing, but it was all about that turret juggling, those ramping shots becoming stronger and stronger. No one member of GZ dying as the first coach comms comes through for the game. Here we see it again. It's a 4v2. That culling goes out nice and early. 2274 doing everything he can to protect Doggo for as long as possible. And a really good response here from Peng Yong to buy even more time, but he's just unable to prevent enough of that damage coming down. So just clean, a lot of ults committed, and still 2-0 in favor of GZ. They're going to be loving this 2.3k gold advantage they have now earned for themselves at this 10-minute mark. And frankly, with only a minute to go before the next Drake, they're in a pretty good position to take this one for themselves if they do decide.
I don't know how CFO really approaches it. The Orianna ult about to come back up. Cyclone will be well and truly up by the time this dragon spawns. I think the only way CFO can try and do something is if they call Rest, but Rest doesn't have TP, Ejung does. I just don't know if you can go near this dragon if you're CFO. I think we have to give this up.
I agree. They're definitely going to have to give this. They're not going to be able to bring the numbers advantage to bear. They don't have that lane priority. So the good call, the right call is to give it up. They don't have prio in mid. They don't have prio on bot. We do see the pings coming down, and Shadow is on this bot side. If he's able to execute a gank here, then potentially something could come of it, as he does juggle that vision.
Ooh, they're moving in, but Shadow gets stopped perfectly by Orca, and Shun just turns it around the entire culling onto the Rel. This is a disaster. Husha is here, will move in, has the Cyclone. Jarvanol just desperately trying to buy time for Doggo, cannot buy enough, and now Jimmy is here as a secondary damage source to make sure that they can all get out. GZ, where was this last game? This is magnificent.
This feels like GZ on comfort picks. This feels like GZ unlocked, ready to go. It feels like they played game one and were like, you know what, we're going to do our best. We'll get a read. We'll get a play on the CFO. And you know that meme, Carrix? I understand it now. That's GZ. They're winning these team fights at the right times and without giving anything back over, which puts themselves in dominant position to take these jungle objectives. They're strangling CFO out of this game right now. It's up to CFO to try and respond. They have to find an angle. They thought they had one
and
here.
Look at this stop by Orca. Oh, the flash on the spot. Oh, Shadow, disaster.
Fantastic response from Orca to immediately hit that ult. Just 2274, unable to get away from a full culling from Shun there. Unfortunately, Shadow with that flash too. Just again, the threat from that tower juggled so nicely. CFO thought they had to play, and GZ just turned it around. I mean, you can't do that in the face of a Braum with an ultimate.
No, you really can't, or you at least need to nail the flash. If that Jarvan ult had gone down earlier, that does go very differently. They're going to try it again. Shadow still, that ult is up in just a second. They maybe went a little bit early because of the sweeper being used. Orca kind of just Ultra Instinct reading CFO before CFO even know it.
Yeah, really good work by the observers there to toggle that vision. And we do see that the sweeper did pick up the sort of red frame, the red outline. So GZ were wary to the play. I do like the strategy. They tried it.
Oh, Pungyon in trouble. Shockwave Cyclone. What can you even say? They're 5k ahead at 13.5 minutes. This is demolition. They're going to try and make something happen again. It is a big Jarvan ult, but you're outnumbered. Shadow, you're in trouble. Another Magnastorm, but it's just too many members of Ground Zero. This is CFO looking disjointed, looking confused, looking shattered.
That Scion ultimate was absolute shock and awe to come in at the end there and snipe that kill. Like, Ejung was like, hey, if I'm gonna make this run from top side to mid, at least give me the kill, I reckon. And GZ were like, sure, no worries, have it. Ejung 1-0 as we do go back to this replay. And what looks to be a rather unassuming play here, Pungyon not reading that Husha was just there, goes down so quickly, Carrix. GZ 3 versus 1, and Pungyon wanted that play on a Jimmian. But then Shadow, great positioning coming from behind. The flag and drag forces that flash out of Jimmian early. Then is able to Cataclysm, but it feels like they just don't have the damage, right? Doggo was able to free fire on that Kaiser, and all three of those members of GZ, none of them were below 75, 80% health. Right now, it's not looking good for CFO.
No, it's looking horrendous. 5.5k at 15 minutes is an astronomical gap. 2,000 gold in the ADC role. It is basically a full item. Rest is in trouble. He's done nothing this game. He hasn't been involved. But now the consequences of his team's actions are coming home to roost. They go for the ultimate. This is a good start to the fight. They do clean up Jimmian. Can they keep this going? I don't think they can, because Doggo's down. Ejung has arrived. They're trying to do as much as they can, but the gold is too much. CFO are getting destroyed.
Look, 2274 found a good engage there. Unfortunately, his ult was on cooldown, so he wasn't able to get any more value out of it, and he died just before it came back up. We see Jimmy in the superstar with over 12,000 damage so far this game, Carrix. I mean, he's putting this Orianna to excellent use. He is being the threat. But speaking of threats, over on GZ's side, Shun on this Lucian is getting so much value out of these culls. That Orca flash forcing Rest to respect it. Word tongue twister there. And a good engage from 2274, the equalizer over the top. So they're able to shut down Jimmy in. They currently have a 4v2 advantage. And yet GZ, they come out on top. They respond. They're able to deal that damage while CFO are locked in and allow their bot laner and their top to arrive. I think GZ saw what CFO did in game one and said, we see what you can do, but we can do it better.
They really have. They are further ahead at this point in the game than CFO was in game one. I would say they have been moving with just as much confidence. It hasn't looked exactly the same. No two games really do. Shun is unstoppable on Lucian. And they're going to go for another play here, but I don't know if 2v2s really work. They move in, they get the hot pot down onto Jimmy, and they're desperately trying to kill the Orianna. They do it, but now you have to escape as the rest of Ground Zero arrive. They do use that teleport to get to safety, but it's a 1-for-1, and your Rumble has to TP out.
Yeah, I think CFO need to play the GZ game and bring significant numbers to bear. And right now, Doggo might be caught out here, Carrix.
He is very caught. Uses the Kaiser ultimate to gain some distance, but bang, 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 he's cold.
Shun is 7-0 on this Lucian right now. He is running rings around Doggo's Kaiser. I mean, what a way to bounce back. What a way to style on CFO right now. We were just, praising them and giving them their flowers for this phenomenal game one, saying they look back in form, they look back in action. But GZ, they're ready to prove us wrong. They're ready to say, we're here. As we go back to this 2v2, it's a good initial engage. And as you say, they get the hot pot, right? But the instant teleport response from Ground Zero.
Looking live, they've killed Rest.
We can't keep doing this. CFO just keep getting caught.
Replays. I think CFO are getting caught too often for replays. Ejung just rotating in here. We didn't really see the start of this. But Doggo, it doesn't matter if he ults. There's no escape.
Yeah, that had to be the easiest setup for Shun. He just sat there. He didn't even have to move to get that culling damage down because it was such a long stun. And as we were talking in live, Rest goes down and GZ are able to secure themselves that bot side tier 2 turret with that Rift Herald as well. CFO in shambles here in the face of a comeback from GZ. They have 3 Drakes. They have priority everywhere on the map. Peng Yong, I don't know if you want a 2-for-1 right now.
I don't think you do. Pungyon needs to run. Orca is arriving as well. There's a taunt under the tower, but the Scion can tank it forever. 2274 arriving will save Pungyon, but it doesn't really salvage the map. It's going to take a miracle for CFO.
Yeah, 2 ultimates committed there from Ground Zero, the Scion and the Braum ult to try and lock down Peng Yong. They are invading CFO's jungle here. They want more value out of this. Jimmyin looks set to take this topside tier 1 turret. This GZ, they're proving why some of these picks are so dominant. They're playing around this Orianna so well. She's been involved in 12 of the kills. Braum in 12 of the kills. This is a team that is working together, Carrix. Oh my lord.
And Doggo caught again. He's just trying to clear the wave before he goes down. He can't even fully do that. It's not even going to go into the tower before it can be collected by Ejung. Doggo is 0-5 at 20 minutes. What can we even say?
At what point do we say GG go next? Surely CFO has to have like an element in the back of their mind of this game is a little bit done. How can we bounce back for game 3 here? But they're also professional gamers. These are the tippity top tier 1 pro LoL gamers. They're probably still trying to work out angles back into this game. And I have to say, it's going to have to be the pick of all time here. I think 2274 is going to need to get the best crash down Magnet Storm or flash Magnet Storm we've ever seen. And CFO are just going to need to be there to capitalize on it, Carrix. Otherwise, I don't see an angle back into this one for them. It's really hard.
It has to be multiple mistakes from Ground Zero. They can lose a team fight. They can get caught, get hot-potted, and maybe lose 2 or 3 of them. It has to happen 4 or 5 times to make this even close.
I mean, yeah, you look at that gold difference, it's 9k. CFO were trying to move into that river there to get some vision down on Baron, and GZ were there. They just bullied them away. That Braum passive is proving to be such a pain in the CFO's plans here. Like, Doggo, as you said, as we saw earlier, couldn't even farm a wave. Husha was just onto him, able to handily solo him down. That's a 2-item AD and a 2-item jungler that had that biff, and Husha didn't even lose 10% of his health. That does not bode well. CFO, though, does have vision advantage, but GZ have the numbers and are pushing in. They kind of want to keep CFO away from this Baron so that they can play on it at their leisure.
Yeah, they will pretty much just walk wherever they want. The dragon is spawning. They'll go and collect soul, make it even more impossible for CFO. They're already thinking about their game 3 draft.
I do want to see, yeah, so this is going to be a Chemtech Soul. You do not want that on a Scion and a Braum. Those two are basically going to be unkillable later in this game. As Ground Zero, they earned themselves that mid-side priority. They barred the way for CFO to even contest that Drake. And GZ just take 4 Drakes in a row, relatively uncontested. CFO did look like they wanted to try a play there. They had started up that Baron, but they realized not soon enough. And GZ want this fight, Carrix.
Yeah, they want every fight. If CFO gives them an inch, they will take a mile. I really do think Ground Zero, they should reset here, just go buy some items, heal up, just start Baron. Who cares if it's 5v5 on the map? You win every 5v5.
And these are the Barons I like. These are the flipped Barons, the ones that can change the game. And I do acknowledge that GZ is up 9k, but if CFO are able to pull that off, force GZ into a fight that they want, they might stand a chance. But Ejung on this Scion proving to be an absolute menace, putting his body on the line to protect the rest of his team. CFO, they're going to have to find a way through Ejung in order to engage that back line. And right now, GZ, they're bullying CFO out of their own jungle. They're just not letting them play this game right now.
The only game is really just trying to guess how many kills Ground Zero will have by the time this ends. As it just seems like 1 or 2 more team fights and then it'll kind of be done. Shadow trying to get something done, but really no effect. Ejung is an immortal Scion in this game. Rest not really close enough to contribute. Doggo so far behind, he can't dash in. Who does Doggo one-shot if he dashes in? Look at the damage. That was like 3 bullets of the culling.
That culling just clipping Doggo, doing about 40% of his HP. He's recalling. He's already out of this fight. He cannot contest. So GZ find themselves with a numbers advantage. They look to be using this priority, this advantage, to go for the Baron. Those pings are coming down. They're going to force it. If CFO can't respond here, GZ get the Baron, and I genuinely think they'll be able to push for the win off the back of this. There is a deep TP, though, coming. CFO will contest this one, Carrix, as 2274 has a good flank angle, but the other TP might have spotted it.
And I think the thing here is that this is where you have to fight if you're CFO. You're not going to get a better opportunity. This one isn't good either, but it's not getting better. Rest is caught out, tagged up. They can go in. Galio ult will get a few knockups. They can try and solo Jimmy and out, but they're disjointed. The Rumble ult is too late. Rest has gone down. Shadow is on the run. 2 members of CFO are already picked up. Ground Zero, they will just walk to Baron, heads held high.
They really split that fight up there. GZ were able to part the CFO team tidily into two, and they went after Rest. Husha soloed Rest down and out, while the rest of GZ took on the leftover frontliner in Jung. They win that fight, and then they are able to handily, tidily collect this Baron for themselves. As we do go back to this replay here, Braum able to clip Shadow there, gets the exhaust, forces the flag and drag, but you watch the GZ snowball. They stay together as a unit of 5, and then they pick their targets. They go in for Rest, they go in for Shadow. Shadow is able to get behind Peng Yong, but then that leaves Peng Yong in the face of 4 members of Ground Zero and just goes down. An unfortunate sequence of events, well played by GZ there to split that fight and keep their cool in the midst of it, working together, staying together, and able to apply that pressure, their numbers strength across that map. We do see GZ calling their third coach comms of the game. For those of you who aren't aware, the LCP and the LCK, we're the 2 regions who are using coach comms for this split. In the LCK, they do the coach comm and then they broadcast kind of like a TLDR summary. Here in the LCP, we do not broadcast anything from our coach comms, as Rest forced to TP in to defend the base.
Yeah, they will go on Jimmy in. The hot pot is activated, but goes golden. They'll try and peel for their mid lane, and they do it successfully, and it will be CFO getting cleaned up. And I think it's good that we don't broadcast our coach comms. I don't think Chorley would have had very broadcastable things to say. As CFO lose another fight, they are taken off the rift. And we are getting a game 3. Hopefully it's closer than our first 2, because we've had 2 stops.
We need the CFO of game 1 and the GZ of game 2 to show up, and that will be an absolute phenomenal game 3 as GZ are all smiles taking game 2 of tonight's best of 3 series between CFO and Ground Zero Gaming. Congratulations. Carrix, I want to point out Shun, Husha, Orca, and Ijung, all deathless. They didn't even die in the Nexus fight. They didn't even die under the fountain. So extra star points there for GZ in that game 2 that CFO weren't able to claim for themselves from the game 1.
Look, I don't know what happened in that 10 minutes between game 1 and game 2, but I think they all just ate their wheat mix or something, because that was just a different team. Ground Zero, what happened? That was incredible. They played to perfection. CFO admittedly made a lot of mistakes, didn't make it easy for themselves, but it wasn't just CFO making mistakes. It was Ground Zero seizing opportunities, being in the right place at the right time constantly.
Correct. They overloaded the lanes. They were proactive. They moved around. They gave themselves those advantages. They equipped themselves with the best tools for the job, and they cleaned up. You look at that gold graph, GZ were basically ahead from the 5th minute and never looked back. The damage charts tell the tale. CFO not even able to get the damage down here, Carrix. That's very one-sided.
It's ridiculously one-sided. I mean, the fact that your Galio out-damaged your Kai'Sa, I don't think that's meant to happen, Logan. I think that's wrong.
You are absolutely correct there, Carrix. And the gold dip in the end, 15,000, as we see the first of many from GZ. The 4v2, the tower dives. Obviously, there is that response from CFO's Peng Yong here, but the damage is already done, and it's like they've rehearsed this so many times, the way they juggled that tower threat and able to not lose a single member, even to the ramped turret shots. And Orca had a tear of a game, just an absolute rip snorter, as we do like to say here. He was able to defend Shun so effectively, so well, just ulting any engage that CFO tried to get down. And Jimmy, it felt like Jimmy was the target of several of CFO's engages, but GZ just had the answers. Husha was always there alongside Jimmy, or when Jimmy did get caught up in that Cataclysm Equalizer combo, he either had the flash to mitigate it, to slow it down, or like in the late game, had those stopwatches to just completely prevent it altogether.
It's hard to really do any more analysis. I think it was just a few mistakes from CFO early. That botched flash in the bot side early on by Shadow really put them behind. And then it was just ground zero forcing the issue constantly, never letting CFO catch up. And they ended the game super decisively. They didn't let it drag out. They didn't wait for like Elder or anything like that. Sometimes we see teams unable to figure out how to finish a game. Not GZ though. They knew exactly how to finish it. They did it quick.
Yeah, they grouped up in that death ball of 5 and just drove that advantage home. It was wallet diff. It feels like it was comp diff here as well. Even in those few times where CFO, they engaged, GZ just had all of the answers, and CFO just felt like they never had a shot in this game. Here, again, we see that Cataclysm equalizer. Jimmy just able to stopwatch out of that, and that buys the time for the GZ response, right? Orca with the ult, Shun with the ult, Culling appropriately named here, just layering so much CC, so much damage down onto the likes of CFO. And we see ourselves at the end of game 2, 1 apiece, CFO, GZ in tonight's best of 3 carries, which frankly, I'm keen for, because like we were talking about going into these games tonight, it buys them more time. It allows for them to get a bit more practice on that rift. Game 3 is going to be, I don't know. It's going to be good is what it is if we see a shadow of either of these teams in game 3.
Well, we've seen CFO at their best in game 1. We saw GZ at their best in game 2. And if we see both teams at their best in a game 3, how exciting is that? That should be an absolute cracker. I hope we see it. I hope we get there. And Fearless game 3, always super interesting.
Definitely, if you want to, you can absolutely target ban someone's role completely out of the game. And because of that Fearless ban, we're starting to get deeper and deeper into those champ pools. So we will see some interesting picks coming out. We'll see if we even get the Malphite through the ban phase, maybe even that Nico now, because now you're going to be going to more of those pocket picks. These players, these legends are going to have to dive deep to get those sort of hero picks to get this game across the line for their team there, Carrix. I'm really looking forward to 2274 kind of bringing that supportal combat that we know he is capable of, and we showed glimpses of in game 2, to maybe turn the tide against his counterpart Orca.
Need Doggo to be activated a little bit more as well. There's so much to see, but it'll all in game 3.
Which is coming up right after this break, because here in the LCP Carrix, we are made for this. See you in a second.
Stand together, come what may. Join us now and we will be all together in unity. Take my hand and join us now, 'cause we are moving in unity. Side by side we'll be as one, 'cause we are moving in unity. We are one and we are moving. As far as I can see, we're living in a dream. When we let go of the wheel, it's like we're living in a dream. As far as I can see, we're living in a dream. When we let go of the wheel, it's like we're living in a dream. Holy ground, I can taste the dirt in my mouth. You can drag me, you can kill me.
And we are back for Game 3 of tonight's Best of 3 series between Ground Zero Gaming and CFO. Now, we have an interesting series on our hand here, Carrick. If Ground Zero Gaming are able to win this one, they practically cement their place in the playoffs, because this is the last weekend of our regular split here in the LCP. And CFO, if they lose this one, they'll still be in contention, but it will be that much harder for them, Carricks.
And on the other side of it, a win here would be massive for Ground Zero. The Hawks would be kicking themselves at home to see Ground Zero picking up this upset, as that gives them so much strength coming into just watching these final results shaking out. It basically locks them in. It's a match with a lot of stakes.
Absolutely. For Ground Zero, definitely more than CFO. CFO can probably afford one loss, but you never want to have that mentality. You never want to be like, I can afford a loss. It's, I must win, and I must win everything. So I'm very keen to see how they bounce back here, CFO. They surely had a strategy meeting, a chat in that locker room out the back to be like, come on, we had an excellent game 1. Let's forget about game 2. We need to win this game 3. How can we do it? What are our picks here? And GZ, likewise, they're probably like, let's roll on with this fantastic form we just found in this game 2 that we brought to bear against, you know, the best team in the LCP in 2025. GZ, they're definitely not shying away from this fight. So we really, really need to see something come out of CFO here. We, as we said, deep into this fearless ban here, as we see them come through, you know, there's no global, semi-global engagers, or not many left. There is still that Talia in the mid lane. Maybe CFO want to prioritize that to give themselves that advantage whenever a fight breaks out, Carricks.
I think Talia makes sense. That seems, in my estimation, Talia and Azir are the two really big mid laners left. Azir already banned out by GZ. Talia, I think that's a first pick, first ban. If you ask me, Nocturne as well, that other semi-global, is still available.
Yeah, but that Nocturne pickup, that'll be down to Shadow and Husha to see if they're comfortable, see if they're confident on that one. They haven't brought that to the LCP just yet, so we may not find out tonight either. We do see that Talia ban coming through, though. Azir and Talia banned away, so we're not going to see either of these sort of stronger mid laners come to bear on the Rift in this third game tonight. That does leave the likes, though, of LeBlanc, Akali. Maybe we even get an Ari or a Yone here, but we'll see when we get to picks, because more bans are coming through. Jace, Ambessa, and Nah from CFO, Azir, Nico, and Talia from Ground Zero Gaming. And GZ, they picked themselves up a good top laner there with the Aurora, Carricks.
And it's not just the top lane, of course, this can go mid. We have seen a few mid lane Auroras recently, and they're doing really well. Flexibility in this first pick when the pools are restricted let you flex this around. It could be E-Jung or Jimmyin. I really like that. I don't like locking yourself in early. I've always been a big fan of like jungle first picks. Now you see a Renekton. Do you want to send Aurora into Renekton? It's not the greatest matchup for her, so maybe now you have the opportunity to pick something that really beats Renekton.
I do like that. The flex picks are that exactly, because you can kind of confuse the enemy team on where your picks will go, because Jax is just as comfortable in the top lane as he is in the jungle as well. Looking like a double flex pick here, as we do see CFO, they have that Renekton, they have that Yunara, and GZ lock in Mundo for their jungler. This should be a good one. I definitely do like how strong he can get in that late game, how unkillable he can get. Oh, wait. So they could be flexing Aurora.
Yeah, I think this makes sense. You pick the Aurora, and then you see the Renekton, and you go, okay, not the greatest matchup for Aurora. Now we get to pick a Jax into it. I like this a lot.
That's exactly what we were talking about. The strength of that flex. It can kind of be a decoy. It can be a red herring out in the mix and force your opponents into a pick, and then you just play the old switcheroo. But I do like this Lulu pick coming through. She's made it through the bans. A very strong enchanter on this patch, Carrick's able to really pump those numbers up for the AD Doggo's Yunara here tonight.
Yunara, yeah, this Yunara Lulu already coming in. I really like this, just securing a super strong bot lane. You ban out maybe MF and take your pick of another ADC. You really push Shun down the tier list. Orca as well, I think, is very incentivized to play something like Nautilus here. Play an engage support, but Seraphine is the chosen man. That obviously is a source of secondary engage, because at the moment you don't have great snap engage. Mundo can stand at the front, but he can't hold you there. Jax can find a flank, but he does need a bit of help.
Yeah, and speaking of the ADs, we still have Corki up. That hasn't been banned. It hasn't been Fearless banned. We still have access to Ezreal, Caitlyn. So a couple of classic ADs there still ready to roll out. As GZ ban away that Vi from the likes of CFO's Shadow. They don't want that guaranteed engage. I mean, they could have always let them have it and just gone Xayah, because Xayah can R away and avoid it. And CFO reading the AD pool here, banning Corki away. They don't want to give that over to Shun of GZ there, because Corki can be a bit of a lane bully sometimes.
Very true. Syndra ban as well. I think that makes sense, particularly into this lineup that's going to run at them. Jax is super vulnerable to Scatter the Weak, as can Mundo be. If you pop his passive, there is nothing he can do about it. It's also a really good way to pop his passive from range. Allows the Renekton to hold him up instead. But I'm so curious where Ground Zero goes with this bot lane. They've held both of their bot lane pick, Pumyon onto Akali. You mentioned that earlier as one of the top mid laners still available. I like that a lot. And now we get to see the bot lane.
I'm liking how long they're taking to lock in these picks. There's clearly a lot of thought, a lot of strategizing over what they're going to do here. As we do see that other AD I mentioned, Caitlyn, being hovered, that would give this composition a lot of range that it is currently sorely lacking. As we do see her locked in, I think this is a really nice pick. It's going to make it very difficult for CFO to close that distance, get on top of that Caitlyn. And Nami feels like a solid choice. The tidal wave being able to disengage the entire team of CFO if they just run it front to back into this Caitlyn.
And I think this is really good here. I did lean towards the Leona pick that they hovered for a little while, but the Nami can do similar things. Use that wave, speed up the Mundo, speed up the Jax. It isn't hard engage, but it might just be enough. And CFO is fairly vulnerable to it. They have a comp that isn't really full of dashes. It's not really full of blinks. And a Trundle doesn't change that. This is going to be a brawl.
I mean, Trundle wants to just fight all in. But one thing I do really like about a Trundle being on the Rift as well is it is a very powerful split pusher. Left alone, if they're not fighting in a 5v5, they can monster a side lane all on their own. So if Shadow is left unchecked, that could be a problem later on. But quite frankly, we have two very simple comps here. GZ, we need to stop you from getting on the Caitlyn, right? Like, we're going to do everything we can to disengage, slow down, stop your dive. And CFO are like, we are going to dive on top of your Caitlyn. You need to do everything you can to stop us. And it's a tall order. These are both very, very skilled teams. They both know exactly what they're doing. So it's going to come down to the shot calling. It's going to come down to the timing of these fights and who gets that early advantage into the pockets of their powerful laners, these mid laners, these bot sides. As Carrix, we get ready to go to our third game of the night. Ijung, Husha, Jimian, Shun, Orca for Ground Zero Gaming into Rest, Shadow, Pangyong, Doggo, and 2274 of CTBC Flying Oysters. Game 3, we're on to Summoner's Rift.
And it's so interesting. It was such a blowout game 1. It was a blowout the other way game 2. And now with Fearless choking these teams' champion pools, I think a lot of the high level thinking and high level macro falls away a little bit. And these teams have just said, all right, who's got the hands? This is just two fight comps. They're going to arrive at Dragons and they're just going to beat each other up.
I really think that every single jungle objective is going to be heavily contested, barring a major disaster prior to the timing of those objectives. As GZ, they draw first blood against CFO's 2274 Carrix.
And of course, we are fighting to first blood, so rapiers down, everybody. As the trades back and forth, summoners being used, heal blown by Orca. Nothing to really write home about, but early, very, very slight priority to Doggo. It needs to be so careful around this long-range Caitlyn.
As I said in the pre-draft, in the draft, I do like the pick of Caitlyn. I think she gets to hide behind a very strong frontline. Jax being able to do his AoE stun, apply that pressure, force people away from Caitlyn. Mondo just able to push right into the mid lines of CFO. Good luck stopping him from doing that. Aurora all up in your face. Meanwhile, Caitlyn just at the back with the longest range in the game, poking you out. It's going to be a tough fight for CFO to have to come into this one. But, if Trundle gets a good angle, if the Renekton is able to just dive onto your backline and that tidal wave is down, CFO could do it.
Oh, they absolutely can. A flash Renekton stun, followed up by the pillar, followed up by Pungyon on an angle. That assassinates basically everyone. Do see Jimian taking early control of this mid lane. This isn't surprising. This is Aurora against a melee matchup. Precisely what we expect, but he needs to maintain control and he needs to build a lead.
A little bit of early jungle action going on here. Shadow will not be bullied by Husha, though.
And they're going to fight over this as Husha is in trouble. That Trundle ground is a real problem. Doggo getting first blood, a little bit too cocky. Orca flashing away from the flashing forward 2274, and the boomerang finds him.
Really great players. Shadow looking for more in mid.
Continue. Shadow's going to walk in, puts up the defiled ground. Jimian able to jump over the pillar, staying in stealth as long as he can. It is just going to be a transition to top crab.
Jimian actually came out of that better. He was able to get some serious potan onto Pangyong as Pangyong was walking up. I think that wasn't the optimal play there from Shadow to show his face behind Jimian. But Husha will not be bullied. He's looking to just come into the topside jungle of CFO here. I think he's maybe trying to intercept Shadow, maybe steal a
They know where Shadow is. There is a ward, but Shadow sort of reading the play. Let's have a look at how this happened in the bot side. I think they just underestimate Shadow.
I mean, the early trading power of Trundle, is very, very strong. Mundo is not, I want to say, an early fighting champ here. As CFO, they're doing really, really well on two fronts. The bot lane is able to push away GZ's bot lane, and then they turn that priority, they turn that health advantage over onto the jungler before getting another flash out of Orca, and 2274 just clips Orca with that slow, allowing Doggo to get that skill shot off and net himself that second kill for the game. We do see, though, that Doggo and 2274 have died. Shun collected one and Orca collected one, so...
Yeah, what's happened here? Have we gotten cocky? Did we go under tower against the Caitlyn? We went under tower against the Caitlyn. Naughty CFO. Don't do that.
That was very overly confident, I want to say, coming out of CFO there. Yeah, okay. Sometimes you see a play and you just go, huh? And it felt like that was one of them there, Cax.
Needs to be really careful. Doesn't have teleport here. We could be calling for Husha, walking under this tower, using the Between Two Worlds. So Akali, not the easiest target to gank. Maybe Jimmy and just happy working towards some turret plays, just building the CS lead. In we go. Ultimates being exchanged. A little bit more damage will do it for Jimmy and doesn't quite find it. The flash is traded. Trundle is here, though. Can Shadow get close enough? Can he land a pillar? No. Jimmy backs off just in time. But look who it is. Oh, Doggo steps on a trap. Oh no, he's in so much trouble. He has no way out. A bubble onto 2274. And it's kills for Shun. He's on 3.
CFO did get themselves ahead nicely with that early bot side fight, but GZ have just turned it around. They were able to 2v2 and win 2-0 into Doggo 2274, who stepped up under tower. And now they saw that Shadow had gone to mid lane, so Husha applied that priority on the bot side, and Shun now 3-0, a very early accelerated Caitlyn here. Shadow, though, will start up this dragon because he does know that a few of the recalls have gone out for Ground Zero Gaming, but right now it's 6.5 minutes. Ground Zero have a small gold lead and are up 4-2. And most of that gold, most of the advantage is sitting on their bot laner, this Caitlyn of Shun's. CFO.
Well, it's so interesting you say that because most of the gold is there, but it's not really where the advantage is. It's 2 accelerated ADCs. They're just so far ahead of the curve from these early plays. It actually just brings a really weird dynamic. You're hitting your items early. Shadow's going to come down to try and turn this around, but Trundle just has to walk around the traps. Can they do it? They can. They managed to dodge away for now. Doggo desperately playing at range. Jimmy's going to come in, will be able to pick up Doggo, but if they can get out and only lose Doggo, it's a good result. Up on the top side, they're going in on to rest. They land the perfect stun, and I told you it was going to be a brawl, Logan.
And a brawl it is, Carrick. These two teams have brought their Game 1 and Game 2 best selves to this Game 3 here tonight. I don't think we've had time to breathe just yet. Peng Yung here goes in with his ult into Jimmy, and Jimmy in between worlds, the double flash, Jimmy and cops the turret, right? And so Shadow rotates around, and this gives Husha the priority to come through onto this bot side in a 3v2. And Doggo steps on that trap, just handing over that free bit of damage, slowing him down, guaranteeing his own demise. And Orca pulling that 2274, getting that Nami bubble, stunning onto 227, and feeding that kill over to Shun as we come back to live and we're fighting again. This is just a small skirmish. This is just a jungle invade, but it is constant. It is consistent. We're more than 1 kill per minute here, Carricks. Both of these teams, they need this win and they are here to take it.
It's so unfortunate in that replay. I noticed the trap was under the friendly ward's health bar. Doggo couldn't see it. It was completely hidden by the health bar. Really unlucky stuff there as they do go for this red buff. Husha in trouble. Can Shadow find a way to wall him off? No, the pillar wasn't up, and now they're trapped between two worlds. Jimmy moving forward into stealth as Caitlyn ultimate comes across the team. Doggo is here. Pungion sets up to the backside. They move in. Execution over onto the Aurora. Look at the damage coming in from Doggo, even if he has to get out. No Lulu ultimate available, still only level 5 on the support. Doggo desperately running, needs to try and find a way over this wall. Bubble holds him back, but Shadow will flash in, take down the Mundo. Shun is on a sliver of HP. Shadow desperately wants him, but can't get close enough. Shun will fire back, go troll hunting, take him down, but 2274 says, not for free.
I do love that 2274 is the one. Oh no!
We've got
Orca! 2274, what are you doing? No, it's a portal combat. 2274 able to finish off Shun, and Orca in turn gets 2274 off the backside of that play. Meanwhile, our top lane is, oh yeah, cool. They're on their own island. They're doing their own thing. And Ground Zero's Husha turns his attention to these grubs, nets himself one grub, and starts to walk it off. I think they're just happy to deny the 3 set of grubs. But Carrix, I was just saying at the 8-minute mark, it was 10 kills. 2 minutes later, it's 15 kills. We're like 1.5 kills a minute. We see Shadow. It starts here, this long protracted fight, and CFO respond. They stack up, right? Their mid laner, their support, as live, picture in picture, a fight breaks out on the top side.
Oh, my word. Does look like that's not going anywhere, so we can keep looking at this one. It was a protracted play, and everyone got involved.
And it was a really good response from CFO. GZ also in response, but CFO, Doggo just there. He moved forward and got his Transcendent slow off onto 3, applying a significant amount of damage. That stun from Orca just clipping Doggo, buying some time. But Doggo was just moving fearlessly, moving aggressively here, even with Shun. And just clips Shadow there with that nice little combo. 2274. The staying around, able to finish off the back end of that fight is what kind of...
Doggo's dead! They zoomed in on him like it was the start of a murder mystery. Like the replay's going to be like Poirot telling us what happened.
I really feel for the production team. It's like I think we're like 2 replays behind now. These two.
I like that. Yesterday we had the VCS derby. We had one earlier today. Then the production staff went, oh, that's over. We can chill out. And then CFO and Ground Zero go, no, 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 no. We're going to VCS just as hard as they still above 1 kill per minute. A dragon goes down. I still don't know how Doggo died. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. I'm keen to find out. But CFO, they do start that dragon stacking. They have secured themselves 2 Drakes, as Ijung here is just kind of running this top lane as we get this replay.
Oh,
so
the reveal.
It's a 2v2. Doggo aggressive again. Just diving forward.
Up.
Is
he
healthy.
Dives behind the tower. He's running behind the tower. I already know. In he goes.
The stun.
Come on.
The Orca, the Nami Q. Just, as we go back to
and we're behind the
again.
tower again, Logan.
Under the tower, Carrix, my God. Does Doggo not respect towers? Like, does he just look at these towers in contempt?
I mean, dogs are colorblind. Maybe the new, Demacian towers, he can't see them.
It's the
He doesn't know
petricite.
it's there.
You're right. It's the petricite armor. He's blinded by the sun reflecting off the petricite. My God,
This
Doggo.
is the best game ever.
They're not playing like they should, and we're here for it. Oh, goodness gracious me. There are a few items being completed here as well. Everybody has that first item, with the exception of Doggo, who finds himself with 2 full items. So he's looking to press that item advantage into his counterpart, Shun, on that bot side there. As we do see Doggo 2274, they're coming around top side. I think GZ... Oh, no.
We got to speed the analysis up. You only get 1 sentence between fights here as they go in onto Ejung. Rest picking up that kill.
Look, Rest deserved it. He'd been scrapping with Yizhong all game. Give it to him. Get him, back on even footing with Yizhong to prevent any bullying later in the game. That TP coming through from Rest for this mid lane as CFO, they were looking for the fight, but I think they decided against it. And Doggo, again, behind the turret. He just loves it here. Maybe it's a room with a view he's looking for there, Carrix.
Oh my word, they're
CFO.
going under the tower again. You thought top lane was safe, should? No! Doggo's here. Doggo's hunting you. As Jimmy trying to come in and equalize it up, does manage to get that initial kill between two worlds, using it to the other side, linking up with Husha, and it was CFO dominated for a minute, and then Ground Zero reminded us that they've got that dog in them too.
We're nearly at 2 kills per minute, Carrix. It's 22 kills in 14 minutes right now. As Rest and Yizhong just doing that dance of top laners as they do. They've just moved down to mid lane. Great trade coming out of Yizhong there, though. Taking more than 50% of Rest's health bar. My goodness gracious me. Ground Zero pressing their advantage home, starting up this Rift Herald. It is 3. I don't think CFO want a piece of this action. Pangyon goes in, Carrot.
Are you sure? Pangyon just ults in, goes into the smoke. Perfect execution's out. What is going on? What did they put in these guys' water?
I mean, it is game 3. They have to win it. They have
Do
to
they
try
have
everything.
somewhere to be?
Yeah, we see CFO here put 3 to this top side, and GZ immediately respond. They commit the TP. Orca's tidal wave is good. It slows up Shadow just enough for Jimmy to come through and get that between worlds and get a serious amount of damage down onto Doggo before he's able to punish them in turn. So a good turn of play from Ground Zero there. The only ultimates down right now is Jax's Yizhong there and Jimmy's Aurora, but that's back up in 5 seconds. These fights, they're never stopping you, Carrix. You called it to be scrappy from the get-go. In Ground Zero's coach comms, they've already used 3. This is their 3rd and last, and we're only 16 minutes into this game.
I think years of casting the VCS was like Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber exactly for games like this. I've been brought out of my cryo chamber and they're saying, Carrix, we have one last mission for you. It's cast this game and then I'll just die in my chair.
It's the return like SOFM. You've come back after 1,267 days. We do see GZ pop the Rift Herald. They really want to crack open this mid-tier 1. CFO rushing to respond. That Husha Q onto Shadow. So much damage. That's actually kind of spectacular. Pangyon has the flank angle. Carrix.
Yeah, in they go, in onto Orca. Need to find that second dash. They can't do it. The CC is too good. Ejang takes out Pangyon, and now there's really no one to slow down Ground Zero. Don't even really need the Aurora here. Jimmy and just going to take that bot lane, push that wave in, hurt that tower. And who's winning? I don't know.
I mean, GZ are up in kills.
They stopped the dragon snowball. That's good.
Yeah, and I mean, the gold difference is negligible. They're going to get this Drake. They're going to even that gold out. It's 13 kills over to GZ, 10 over to CFO. So it's still relatively evenly matched, but CFO looking to turn the tide.
Yeah, they're going to move in once again. It's a massive catch here onto Shadow. Have to run. Husha doing really well, using that W to perfection. 2274 on the run. They can't really approach the range of the Caitlyn, just gatekeeping them off. There's about to be a fight in the bot lane, but we're going to look at the mid lane for a moment. The ultimate is coming out from Jimmy, and can Pangyon find him? No, has to hide in the smoke for now. Doesn't have that perfect execution. We immediately go up to more in the top lane as Heejung will pick up the tower. Surprised he doesn't just flash on the rest. Why not? But does play it safe for now.
Interestingly, in the last minute, the gold has swung 1.6k back towards GZ. So they removed the small gold lead CFO had. Oh, Jimmy cancels a recall. Pangyon doesn't know.
Pangyon, there's a rabbit in that there bush. Oh, he reads it. Oh, no, he doesn't read it. Uh-oh, that's a bad surprise for Pangyon, and there's a Mundo there too. He's going to desperately try and make it a 1-for-1. Husha playing it well to just flash E, make sure none of that goes down. GZ have gotten themselves a little bit of a lead, but here is Shadow. He's just going to wallop this Mundo. Orca on the way, throws out the wave, does save his jungler.
Great zoning ult there, but CFO, they're not willing to let this one go. Doggo's in the area. He is hot on the heels of Jimmy in here, Carrix.
Yeah, they're moving in. I don't think they're going to be able to find him. It is too hard to play around the weirding. Ooh, the flash pillar, not quite close enough. Will just be a stolen red buff.
GZ, no CFO here now, though. They're collapsing. They're going to turn this around.
Stepped on a trap in 2274, lost all of his health in exchange for it. Husha loses even more as he goes down. It's a shutdown for Doggo, dashing forward despite his health bar. Traded back immediately. They move forward. It's trades, it's trades, it's trades. We are at a card show, Logan. And it's not going to stop as Ejang taking in Jimmy and coming in with that between two worlds. Wants to make it happen for the Aurora. Rest double dashing away. They will finally disengage. Just a 2v2 over some Raptors. 2-4-2, I should say.
Just some Raptors. Oh my goodness gracious me. It's like, you know, when you're learning League, they say you don't fight over nothing. And these teams are going hell for leather over a Scuttle Crab. They're going hell for leather over a Raptor jungle camp. As we see this again, CFO, just before this engage, exposed themselves. They revealed that they were roaming in the enemy jungle, and GZ collapsed. They responded super well to be able to shut down CFO here. You know, Ejang getting on that backline onto Doggo. Shadow deep in the enemy territory, alone into 3. The rest TP coming through, just able to sort of tank up the retreat.
No, we're already out of the replay, Logan. You've got to stop. You don't have time as they're starting another fight. Shadow moving forward will meet Husha. Oh, okay, they back off for us. We're still well ahead of a kill a minute, by the way. We're at 28 and 21.
Exactly. This is a ruthless game that neither side is willing to concede. Right here, right now, we are watching Game 1 CFO versus Game 2 GZ. And whew, it is a spectacle. Absolutely. Oh, the pillar.
Pillar was pretty good as Doggo clearing out the wave. The Caitlyn ult mostly absorbed by the shields, but Ejang from the side. Doggo can't flash far enough away, but the Lulu ultimate will keep him safe for a moment. The polymorph is good as well. Ejang has no chance in the fight. 4 members left. The GZ and Shadow bearing down on them. Husha, a big old tank, a massive amount of damage from that Aurora. Should send CFO packing for now. But if this game has taught me anything, it's that Pangyon will always find more.
Ooh. All right. Can I break it down? Can I look at this fight again before we go? So GZ lose 2, CFO lose 1. The gold is pretty even, and CFO just returned to their jungle to clean up. But the objectives on the map, we're looking at a Baron. It's been there for 2 minutes. We have the 4th Drake of the game in 30 seconds time. So both teams, they're going to be back to their 5-man roster ready to go. This will be a significant fight coming up here. If CFO unable to secure themselves some priority, CFO Shadow here in the side brush, able to get a good pillar off, but
not quite the target he wants. Jimmy not super vulnerable to the pillar, always just able to jump over. Doggo needs to be so careful. Jimmy will one-shot him if he gets close. If it ever gets followed up, if a trap lands, if a bubble lands, the dragon is pulled. Ejang is lurking. Ooh. Doggo, they'll spot Ejang out. Doggo, safe for now. Lulu ultimate will come back up in 2 seconds. We'll be up by the time it's relevant. They have Aurora. They have the Transcendence. They have everything. Blue team picks up that dragon. Goes over to ground 0. They move over onto Ejang, but the fight is split and CFO are getting corralled. Bang! Doggo is executed. Oh my word!
You know what kicked that off for me? That was Orca's tidal wave. The timing of it was fantastic. 2 members of CFO were already in the pit and the other 3 were out of the pit. And so Orca sent that tidal wave straight down the middle, zoned them away, and managed to basically guarantee the Dragon get for GZ. They were able to get it uncontested because they were CC'd by the wave. And then with the split fight, GZ were able to put all of their attention and turn onto Shadow and Doggo and take the jungler, which means they get this Baron uncontested. GZ have really put the pedal to the metal here, Carrix. They want this more than CFO. As we go here to the replay, rooted up, Shadow less than 50%. That tidal wave hits 4. Shadow and CFO, it feels like they don't know what they want to do or where they want to go. So Doggo is just left here and eats that Jimmy combo, is just wiped off the face of this rift here, and all CFO can do is retreat at full speed. This game is far from over though. We're currently sitting at 33 kills in 24 and a half minutes. This might be getting close to one of the bloodiest games we've seen here in the LCP this split.
Oh, it's got to be up there, definitely, at least since I have been coming onto the broadcast. This is exactly what I'm used to. What I love to see. It's the kind of game I want every week. Not every game, though. That would do bad things to my throat. I do need a little bit of a reprieve. I'm an old man. But it is still fairly close gold-wise. 2k gold up. A tower falls in CFO's favor. The Baron still on. And this is just becoming more and more. Can Doggo survive the first 3 seconds of a fight? If he can, they look good, but boy, is that a hard 3 seconds.
I mean, all Jimin has to do is go between worlds and is suddenly in the back line and on top of Doggo, hits that combo, and Doggo is near to Right's dead enough. Shadow just getting poked out by Husha here. Those cleavers doing some serious work. GZ looking to press their Baron advantage right now. They only have a minute left here, so they're going to try and get this tier 2 turret, which I think they will, but I see over on the side lane, Yizhang doing some side splitting, unable to keep pushing. It is a 2v1, but it does give GZ the advantage in that mid lane push. This one cannon minion is putting in some work right now, Carrix. It's slow, they crack it.
Cashing the overtime and pushing another one into mid. They'll get this inhibitor tower low. They're actually playing this very smart. Only Shun in range. The tower won't get any tankier. They only really need the Caitlyn, but uh-oh, here comes Rest. Dominus is on. Shadow moving forward, kind of just immediately chunked out. Can they find anything? Ejung arriving as well. Rest just can't find the engage. Hungyon sectioned out. In comes the ult onto Shadow. He's low. He has to limp away. Ejung hasn't even really contributed, just standing in the front, wielding his staff. Ground Zero are bearing down on the Nexus, bearing down on the win, bearing down on locking up playoff here in the LCP. The towers are down, the Nexus will follow, and Ground Zero takes the win.
There are going to be a lot of very, very happy faces out there. Shout out Vestian, who is one of GZ's co-streamers, as GZ take tonight's best of 3 series between Ground Zero and CFO. What an amazing best of 3 we were just treated to, Carrix. CFO in the best form we've seen them in so far in Game 1. Ground Zero turned the tables in Game 2. And then Game 3, it feels like we got the best of both of them all game right up until the end. It was a close competition. Neither side willing to relinquish. Neither side standing down. They wanted it. And GZ just proved themselves the better tonight. Jimmy in this Game 3 on that Aurora, finding the angles, able to just annihilate Doggo. It was so impressive to see. I really liked Young in that Game 3 as well on that Jax, able to get those multi-man stuns. It was just GZ tonight, Carrix.
I mean, Game 1 seems like a distant memory. CFO won that so hard, and then GZ just said, all right, we've set the trap, we've got you a little bit arrogant, and just run them down. And that Game 3 was about as violent and bloody as a game of League of Legends can get. Looking at the damage chart, yeah, Jimmy Yeah, he was huge on the Aurora. Just massively influential in the team fights. So much more damage coming out than Pangyon. Pangyon had some good moments on the Akali, but just got beaten in the end. We saw who the real assassin was, and she's dressed like a rabbit.
Absolutely, that AP assassin Aurora, which she is not known as, but between the worlds and that AP damage being brought to bear, she was able to get onto any target that Jimian wanted. But I do want to shout out Orca, and appropriately timed here, I don't think Orca missed a single bubble. Orca's stuns changed these fights more than once. We see Doggo here clipped, just allowing Shun to get that combo off, and deservedly so, quite frankly, there. Orca taking player of the match here for his supportal combat efforts in game 1, 2, and 3. And you can see the stats don't lie. His game 3 was an absolute ripper. 90+% kill participation. He was everywhere he needed to be when he needed to be there. He did even more damage in game 3 on Nami than he did with Bard or Brawl.
I was about to say, he had 400 damage per minute in game 3. He had 400 damage per minute on Nami. What the hell did they put in his food?
I mean, that's the supportal combat life.
It's just such an unbelievable performance. I think it was honestly a really hard choice for player of the match. Orca, very, very deserving. Just played gatekeeper. Every time Doggo went for these plays behind the tower, it was just Orca being the bodyguard, being the bouncer, making sure that Shun was safe. Well deserved, but frankly, you could have given it to basically anyone on GZ.
Yeah, GZ just really showed up game 2, game 3. Obviously, it was a bit of a quieter affair in that game 1, but hey, we all have our bad games, and they got it out of the way early, and then they never looked back. They collapsed into the team fights quickly. They brought their advantages to bear. You know, Husha was frontlining on that Mundo so effectively. They were able to just let Shun fire in the background. Orca was getting these stuns. Orca was tidal waving magnificently to be able to disperse CFO and allow GZ to collapse into what was a very one-sided fight when they did. Even if they don't win the fights, they're punishing them so heavily that they're setting themselves up to win the next one, forcing the burning of the flashes, forcing the TPs, the ults, when they may not have wanted to do that. And Jimian just showing up, TPing in between two worlds, traps CFO in here, and is able to just bring 2 down quicker than you can blink there, Carrix.
Yeah, and this was just a game of back and forth. It was hard to tell who was winning for the majority of it. Eventually, Ground Zero took control, but as soon as they did, the game sort of ended. That wasn't they took control and then 15 minutes later they grinded their way to the win. I would say once they were fully in control, the Nexus fell about 6 minutes later. They really didn't need much, and that's a sign of a really good team, in my opinion. Once you get the lead, once you are in control, you just end the game. You do not give the other team time. You do not let them do anything. You do not give yourself time to make mistakes. You end the game. You win the series. And that has such massive implications for playoffs. The SoftBank Hawks must be furious.
I definitely think it's a struggle for SoftBank Hawks right now. I think GZ have placed themselves extremely well. They've got to be happy with tonight's performance as we take a look at both of our series. Team Secret Whales 2-0ing MVK, and then our second series of the night, GZ winning 2-1 over CFO. Both of these teams now at 3 wins and 3 losses, so still in the mix for playoffs there for both of them. And we look at the updated standings, Team Secret Whales on top because of those championship point differences, with Relove DCG nipping at their heels, Carrix. This is a ladder.
This is an absolute ladder. As you can see, everyone is so close to each other, just banding together in those little packs and fighting their way in. And I would have said going into today that, yeah, CFO are a little bit behind, but the strength of schedule wasn't great for them. Coming into playoffs, I had really high hopes for them. I still have really high hopes for them, but I've got to add ground zero to that. And tomorrow we have a clash of titans, Garm and Relove DCG in our first match. Be there.
Second and third on the ladder currently as it stands. That's going to be a spicy series. And then our second series tomorrow night will be the LJL's SHG versus the LJL's DFM. It is another derby, but this time it's an LJL derby Carricks. I'm super keen to see how this one plays out tomorrow night. But oh boy, were we treated to some excellent games tonight. I mean, we saw the return of SOFM, that legendary Vietnamese jungler. We saw CFO in their best form, and we saw GZ in their best form, Carricks.
Yeah, we had absolute bangers. This night was so much fun, and every night in the LCP is so much fun. I can't wait for
what
tomorrow,
else can you say?
But I need some sleep.
Me too, and that's why we are going to sign off right here, right now. Stay tuned for more LCP tomorrow night. We're made for this.